Hey, folks. Welcome to Kaiser's Castle. I have a special treat for you today. Vinny from Brooklyn, co-host with myself and Princess Wells and our leader, Jaffe Ryder on WPRPN. I got him today. And we're going to touch, he's a great, funny guy. I want to introduce you to him. He gives me a lot. So does Jaffe, and so does Princess. They're civilians. So they give me, I can't think of any other way than from a civilian or law enforcement, or from a military or a law enforcement perspective. And these gentlemen and that lady give me the ability to see it through civilian eyes. He's smart on super topics. We're going to touch some of those towards the end. But the special treat we're going to talk about are on the fireside chat on my big orange couch. Pop yourself a soda, Diet Pepsi is my choice. Maybe have yourself a tea, a coffee, or an adult libation. It's up to you. But we're going to start out with talking about Mary Sue's. Both, I think we'll start with the Marvel universe, and we'll lead into how the Star Wars universe has been co-opted and canon just thrown away. Okay, Vinny, what's your thoughts on that, brother?
Hey, Kaiser, you do me honor with that intro. I appreciate that. Let's see. I want you guys to be entertained today. So I may curse a little bit, but I'm going to pretty much. I just want to have fun.
Curse away. Be unabridged.
All right. So Star Wars, right? Star Wars. So we start with Star Wars. Okay. So let me tell you. The full confession. I'm one of the people who actually wasn't aware that Palpatine was the Emperor because I didn't watch Return of the Jedi when it came out because of the Ewoks. The Ewoks completely outraged me. I said, "What are Muppets doing in a Star Wars movie?"
Right.
And at the time, I couldn't put the two together. You know, I was a young kid, and I was fine with Star Wars. I was fine with Muppets, but I wasn't fine with Star Wars Muppets. So I didn't see it when it came out, and I didn't know that the Emperor was Palpatine. Right. So
okay.
So there's Episode 1, which is pretty much a cash grab. Right, with all the toys and crap, the Phantom Menace, right? As people we all like to call the Phantom Man ass, which would be a funny segue when we start talking about Brie Larson. But let's get back to that in a second, right? So there's Palpatine in the beginning, and I see he's acting a little sinister, but I didn't put two and two together at the time. Then Attack of the Clones, and there's more scumbaggery from Palpatine, and then Episode 3. And I go, wow, right? And I'm going, wow, when everyone else is going, yeah, he's the Emperor. I go, oh, wow. And it's just because I didn't know that. So that's just a little bit of honesty about the Star Wars thing, right? So that's all done. We got the 6 episodes done. So all of a sudden, Disney buys the Star Wars franchise. They buy Lucasfilm. And they replace whoever's running Lucasfilm with Special KKK. This idiot, Kathleen Kennedy. And I got to start with calling her an idiot because apparently she's never seen a Star Wars movie.
Right.
She's never seen a Star Wars movie. And wait till I start talking about Roundhead, okay? But she's never seen a Star Wars movie. Because apparently Luke's whole hero's journey meant nothing to her. Nothing.
Right.
So Luke starts as a sand farmer. His parents are murdered. He goes out into space with Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he trains, and he becomes the best Jedi in the world, the best Jedi in the universe. Right? He didn't start out with these Force powers that he didn't know about, nor could do anything with.
Right.
When we saw him train with Yoda, he could barely lift rocks at the end of it.
Right. I mean, if you think about it, his Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru were both, they were relatives of his from, as you see the prequel, it follows canon. They were relatives to Anakin, right? So that his actual parentage, but they grew him up, and it's this way with a bastard like myself understands this. Whoever your parent is who your parent is, right? That grew you up. And they are your mother and father. Your dad is just a sperm donor, and that's a fact. And so your point is well taken, and I think a lot of Star Wars people that listen to it they need to understand that words mean things. And so by de facto and default, Luke Skywalker was raised by the parentage of his aunt and uncle. They were his parents. But see, that's the whole thing. These nuances people don't get. You know what I'm saying, brother?
Indeed. They like to leave these things off. It's too much to think about. Well, I don't think there's any such thing as too much to think about. It's like saying too big to fail or too big to jail. Like we talk about the pantsuit war pig, Hillary Diane Rodham Clinton. You notice I use her entire name because I bind her. I bind her
right.
like the demon that she is. So it's so Kathleen Kennedy, they put her in charge, and then so she gets J.J. Abrams, Mr. Mystery Box, right? Now, I gotta tell you, I'm really not that impressed by J.J. Abrams. So it didn't really make a big deal that he was making Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Ooh, sounds great. And then we got the wonderful Mary Sue. Now, everyone knows what a Mary Sue is, right? Mary Sue is a character that can do everything without fail. Without fail. I mean, there's nothing beyond her. So this is
exactly.
Mary Sue. This was it's funny because we talk about the Captain Marvel in Marvel Comics. Let's jump to Captain Marvel fast. We'll get back to Star Wars.
Cool.
This will be fun. All right, so Captain Marvel, let's give you the history. Captain Marvel was a male Kree who came to Earth and instead of taking over the planet, decided to save the planet. Right? That's how he became our Captain Marvel. Right? So he runs into Carol Danvers at a military installation. She gets hit by rays from the psychic magnetron, not the Tesseract, because that's just a thing they made it for the movies. Okay? And it transforms half of her biology into Kree biology, and also gives her access to powers that Captain Marvel had. She becomes Miss Marvel or Ms. Marvel, and she had a comic that ran for 23 issues. She fought with the Avengers, Fantastic Four. She fought against lots of bad guys, and at one point she was targeted by Mystique of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Mystique had formed a new brotherhood consisting of, and somehow I keep forgetting, so I'm going to start with him first, Pyro, the Blob, the Toad, Avalanche, and Destiny. And I can't forget Rogue, because Rogue is the whole turning point of this. So she sends Rogue after Ms. Marvel. They fight, and somehow Rogue has the power to steal your powers and your psyche by touch. What happened was she touched her too long, and she completely absorbed her psyche and her powers. So Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, was left a tabula rasa, or a blank slate, and she was rescued by Spider-Woman. She threw her into the Golden Gate, the bay under the Golden Gate Bridge.
Right.
I forget what it's called. And Spider-Woman rescues her, brings her to Charles Xavier of the X-Men, and he tries to rehabilitate her mind. Right. He does as best he can, but you can't just bring stuff like that back. That's like magic, right? We're not playing stupid games. So she has the feelings, but no emotions are tied to the feelings. Then Rogue comes back to get help from the X-Men, and Carol Danvers beats the bloody mess out of her. Right. Before shooting off into space. Right. So all this stuff, Kathleen Kennedy doesn't know anything about. She knows nothing about it. The only Captain Marvel she knows is this chick with a dyke haircut in this red and blue uniform that somehow got to be the head of Alpha Flight. That's all she knows. Right. She doesn't know anything about Carol Danvers or Ms. Marvel or any of that stuff. She knows nothing about it. All she knows is girl power. She's the most powerful woman in the world. She's unstoppable. That bunch of crap. She has Vagine and Bob. That's all the fuck that woman cares about, and that's a fact. Holy. I mean, come on. I mean, hero's journey. The hero's journey was important for a reason, because it shows progress. It shows someone bettering themselves. An arc. There's always a mentor on your journey, which starts with one foot. This does sort of dovetail to what my channel is normally about, is about mentorship and different things like that in the hero's journey. We all will live a certain arc of it,
Just some people will take it further. But the compliment and the understanding of an actual hero's journey, I think just because, well, some females get it, I believe. I know Princess Wells does. She writes books. But for the vast majority, it's about the feels. It's not about reality in some aspects. Your thoughts?
Okay, how's this, guys? I don't understand when someone got the idea that women needed to supplant men. Women are supposed to complement men, and men are supposed to complement women.
Indeed.
We're not supposed to take their places. That's insane. I don't want a bunch of men walking around in tight jeans and drinking soy lattes and having man buns and acting like little bitches. That's insane. And I don't want women walking around picking me up and saying, "Yo, you're gonna come, you're gonna do a good job with me, boy." You know?
Oh yeah.
Even though that actually might be nice every once in a while.
oh yeah. I've had this conversation with somebody, brother.
Yeah.
I remember back when I was young, there were homosexuals that I knew back then, and one of them was a family friend. They used to babysit me and my twin sister, and Opie was his name, and they were brother and sister. Edie was the other one, and he was a homosexual. He dated Paul Lynde from Hollywood Squares. Paul Lynde hated kids, so whenever his boyfriend, quote unquote, would come by, we would have to be scooted out of the house. And I met Paul Lynde being escorted out of the house, and he got there too early or something.
Oh boy!
And yeah, exactly. And Opie.
What's that doing here? Oh God, get him out of here!
No, he was like, Opie. Kids. That was his exact phraseology, dude. And we get scooted out. Who knows? But anyways, I don't want to digress into that personal story, but it's just funny. But homosexuals back then, most of them had families. Kid diddling was not it may have been a thing, but I don't remember it ever really being pushed until probably after... Oh, what was that riot you guys had in New York? The
Stonewall
riot, yeah. And that's when everybody, look, you had World War II veterans that you probably knew. You had Korean War veterans, Vietnam War veterans. They were probably homosexuals, but they had their beard. They had a family. And they acted normally. There was no fucking gay pride parades and shit back then.
Right, who was proud?
Yeah.
Right, what to be proud about?
Yeah, it's a deviant behavior. And so now
I'm proud to give up my ass.
Yeah.
Hello, Frisco.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There we go.
I'm proud to be bukkakied on. Yeah. It's disgusting. It's and abhorrent. But
Come and get it.
If somebody finds that fun, then to each their own. That's the motto of the Feldjagas.
But you know what? But the closets have a door for a reason, people. Okay?
Exactly. Shut that door when it's inappropriate.
Boy.
But see, that's something. Hey, you can tell he lives in Brooklyn. Listen to those sirens, baby. But no, the interesting part, brother, is it's so funny to see how the United States has changed. We'll go into. Let's keep going on the Captain Marvel riff and the Star Wars riff, brother. Yeah.
So here we go. So let's get right to this movie. Right now, I didn't see this movie either. I wouldn't waste my time. All right, wouldn't waste my bloody time. I may see Endgame, but I'm not gonna go rush to see it because there are too many waterheads probably standing online. I wonder how long Captain Marvel's in there. I really don't want to hear about it. I heard she's only in it for 3 minutes total. So everyone should feel free to go watch and enjoy Endgame. It's not ruined.
I listened to Tim Pool's assertion of it, and he actually had a breakdown time. She has about 15 minutes of screen time, and the SJWs are screaming that the minority and the female characters don't have as much time as the white male cisgenders.
Please.
No, I'm serious. Now,
Jeez,
for those of
bloody Christ.
if you want to tell a little bit about yourself, you can.
Okay.
I don't have to.
That's a perfect segue. Here we go. So let me give you my history in that. Okay. I grew up idolizing Peter Parker. All right, because Peter Parker was me. All right, except that he wasn't black,
right?
And I didn't wear glasses. That's pretty much the only difference. Okay. Otherwise, I was Peter Parker, and I could have been Spider-Man. So now I don't know if I could invent the web shooters, but otherwise,
right?
I had the mentality much like Peter Parker, science nerd.
Exactly, brother.
Kind of off from everybody else, Now, so let me tell you that Miles Morales is completely unnecessary to me at all. Miles Morales is the biracial Spider-Man that was created by Brian Michael Bendis for the Ultimate Universe.
Right.
So they brought him over to this universe, but didn't need him. He didn't have to. I didn't need him to be black to be a hero. Absolutely not. It didn't even occur to me. It's kind of like a retarded thought to me that he has to be exactly like me for me to idolize him, right? So then we had the Falcon, we had Luke Cage, we had black heroes. I mean, what's the Black Panther? We got them, but he didn't. If we never had black heroes, it still wouldn't bother me that you had Spider-Man. It was fine.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I'll be very frank and honest. I loved the Green Hornet as a kid in the 70s. But then when I got older and my son's growing up, I get, those kind of comics with the Green Hornet and the Super Friends, all that stuff, right? If you remember, in the 90s, they made the character black. In all honesty, I thought the black character was better because there was a difference, I think, with that character that they created. But it didn't break canon.
Right.
And it was flawlessly done.
Right. If they do it right, it doesn't. All those things don't even matter if you do it right.
Right. But
they're not even doing it right. They're not even doing it right. It's half-assed is what they're doing.
They don't give a fuck about the people, the fans. And that's the thing. A fan is going to be a fan as long as it's properly developed. And then notice Hollywood, when it came time to do the movie, the Green Hornet, which I've seen, sadly, they used a guy that, in my opinion, did not fit the mold of either the white or the black character, but he's a white guy. And I was like, you destroyed it.
You see, they don't even they had no morals, so they have nothing to hold on to. That's what it is. First of all, Hollywood is bankrupt. They're bankrupt of ideas.
Oh yes,
they're absolutely bankrupt of ideas. They have nothing. In fact, I want to push something to you. If you could put that on. That's the only thing I'll ever, like I said, I'll never shill. All right, so shilling is for scumbags. But this is something I came up with.
I like it.
With someone, this is we can take Hollywood out, man. We can take Hollywood out, but we'll
yep.
People, look at that.
Go on and pimp it. Talk about it real quick because we'll go back to it. The reason why there's no fresh ideas, there were some movies made that I've seen, but they're on Christian, quote unquote, and this is what you're going to get into. They're like the movies we grew up with as young people, and they have a positive message, and they have the hero's journey. They have the entire. One was Fireproof. Trying to think of all the movies that came out under Obama, and these are indie movies. But the reason why they don't have fresh ideas is if you're not taking it up the ass from a producer, if you're not sucking his pole, guess what? You're not getting into Hollywood. And
hey guys, can I tell you this? I'm gonna destroy a whole bunch of stuff right now. I want to tell you that all your black rappers have been banged in the hole. All of them.
Oh yeah.
All of them. To get that contract, they had to have Lyor Cohen or some other producer put him over a chair, bend him over, and I don't know if they use lube or not, but poke him.
Well, look at all the black actors that are comedians. Notice what they've done with them. And we can go all the way back to it was a black comedy show that used to be on called In the Living Color.
That's it.
And they'd always make all the black males wear a dress.
You got it.
And in history, no, it's true.
Yeah, that's right.
And in history, that's what they've done. And they've done it to males, too. You go back to Burl, I can't think of it. He was a Jewish guy. Burl something. I can't remember his, shoot. Anyways, I'm mind dumping him. He was a comedian.
Milton Burl.
That's it, Milton Burl. And they used to call him
Uncle Milty.
Yep,
Milty.
Uncle Milty. And the legend was he had a cock like a horse. Yeah. But he also, because he had a cock like a horse, right?
Hey.
He also was made to wear, being Italian, I understand this thing. Yeah. And so I think it's a way that they try to take away your maleness. And it's been being done at least since Milton Berle. And that's my opinion. So it's not just a black thing, it's a white thing too. And it's really strange. It only occurs with comedians. Your thoughts?
No, there's this whole thing. Hollywood seems to be Hollywood is based on fallen angel worship. That's what it is, and people simply don't know that. They're not aware of this. They just think that, they're all just celebrities and all just different. Well, I explain why they're different on the other show. So
the worship of Baal. That's
right. And like I say, to worship him, you have to exemplify him, and to exemplify him, you have to do
degenerate shit. Degenerate shit.
That's right. That's it. And that's Hollywood in a nutshell. So understand this, guys. The reason I'm pushing this film, Orbiter, it's the first 3D Christian film. This is going to be fantastic. And what it is, it's not just that. There's new stuff. This guy, David Rosler, the producer, director of this, has all kinds of new stuff for everyone to see. The movies will be completely revolutionized if we can get this one in the theaters, right? So he's going to put the link for this crowdfunder. Just go in and take a look at it.
Yes, I will.
And the whole thing is he's got new stuff. He's got all kinds of new stuff. There's a trailer about look for Orbiter versus Gravity, right? You've already seen Gravity in the theaters. See the footage that he has on Orbiter, and it beats it out at a tenth of the signature.
Oh, I bet. That's the whole thing. They have all these little things. There's a lot of indie producers I've met. We'll talk about that offline sometime.
Yes.
And film guys behind the screens. And those guys tend to put out better movies because they try to base it in a not theological bent so much as, and even a lot of the Christian movies, they're not theologically bent. They're just righteous, moral depictions of what most people do. Most people in America, left or right, I don't give a shit. I tell everybody, vote your conscience. But most Americans in the center, this will bring us to another topic later maybe, but we really need to close out the Marvel thing.
And we're going
to, and the Star Wars thing. But most Americans tend to vote the way that they want America to be. It hasn't been totally corrupted yet, but that's why they're forcing us with all these foreigners.
That's right. Yeah,
that don't have
with people with their hands out.
Right.
America is not the land of the handout. America is a land of opportunity, and opportunity means that you're helping. All right. If you got your hand out, obviously you're not helping anybody.
You're taking.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The whole thing is America. Listen, America was made great through National Socialism, even though it wasn't called that at the time. It's what it was because everyone worked together and everyone benefited. That's how it works. What happened was 1913. The scumbags got their claws into us.
Right.
With the advent of the Federal Reserve.
Yep.
The non-ratified 16th Amendment. And by giving corporations the rights of a person.
Right.
Those three things colluded to screw America for the next 100 years.
Oh, yeah.
100 and so years.
That's bar none. Seeing it from the inside in some aspects, I always talk about this. Smedley Butler's speech.
My hero.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
The man is exemplary. in a lot of ways. Him, John Bastion, and another guy a lot of people don't understand is Smedley Butler was an officer. But there was a enlisted man that also won 2 Medals of Honor in the Marine Corps. And that man's name is Dan Daly. And he got his first Medal of Honor, I think, when he was a corporal. See, here's the thing about the Marine Corps is it does indoctrinate you, but I think it indoctrinates you in a good way. And they do want you to, well, they did when I was in. They wanted you to be a free thinker because a combat man in the field has to take a decision. Nobody makes a decision. We take a decision, and we will live with those ramifications.
Actions have consequences.
Exactly.
That's the whole thing. That's the thing.
But you have to have the balls to take that decision. Come shit or bleed, you're going to be praised for it, or you're going to be thrown in the pokey or killed for it. And that's reality.
But that's reality. Exactly. It's reality. You know, you can't pawn off reality when you want to, because reality is what it is.
Exactly. So I'll let you riff on whatever you need to riff on right now, brother, because we brought up a lot of topics for you to unpack.
Okay, so now to go back to Brie Larson. So Brie Larson comes out. She comes out and says, oh, I don't need a 40-year-old white man to tell me about my stupid movie that nobody saw. All right, well, hey, honey, and I gotta say honey, because I heard E. Michael Joe say honey, so I know it's okay to get away with that, right? Hey, honey, who do you think is going to go see the movie? Who do you think's paying to go see the movie? You know, it's not like this movie just gets to pop on our screens and we all just get to watch it. People have to work to pay for it. Who do you think is going to do that? Who do you think is going to do that? All your SJW freaks don't pay for these things. They try to appeal to a fan base that doesn't exist. It's not a fan base. You can't replace the Star Wars fan base with a bunch of SJWs who don't buy your products. And they say, oh, that's not true. Well, go find the Rose Tico items at the store. You can get them for $1.
Well, hey, not just that, brother. You think about the toy sales, the merch sales. There's a reason why they brought J.J. Abrams back, and they brought George Lucas back. They didn't get rid of Kathleen Kennedy, so of course Mary Sue's still going to be around. You know, that's just not going to change because they've invested this time with her uselessly on 2 flippin' movies. And they could have, in the second movie, realized, but guess what? Disney's not making money. And it's because the fans aren't coming. The SJWs did not step up to the plate, baby.
See, if they did, they could have proven us all wrong. They could say, all right, we're the new fan base now. You can all go. All your male testosterone, you can all get out of here. We're the new fan base. We're Star Wars. You know.
All you dick slingers, just go away.
Oh, I can smell your cockheads in your pants. I can't stand it. You know, bunch of nonsense. It's just silly. It's just silly. So so we get the Force Awakens. We get Mary Sue, who can do everything, and at the end of that movie, we get to see Luke. We get to see the greatest Jedi in the universe, and that's how the movie ends. A great cliffhanger, and so everyone's going, wow. You know, as much as the storyline is kind of a little off because we're just watching A New Hope all over again, but Luke decided to do a Caitlyn Jenner. You know. And said, okay, well, we'll deal with it because no matter what, we're going to see the greatest Jedi in the world.
Well,
and then,
the end of it, what was so amazing was they had said, well, you'll see Luke has become like a wizard. So the end of that one, that cliffhanger made both my wife and I we can't wait to see how he trains this Mary Sue.
It's going to be great, right?
Yeah. She's got the ultimate power, and she had a couple flaws, not many. She was expert at everything, actually, but sometimes something would catch her off, and she'd have to think. And I'm like, well, they got to show some more humanity in her, but they didn't do that in that movie. But you're like, okay, Luke is going to teach her, mentor her, and she's going to realize she has flaws, just like Luke did, sort of like the Yoda, the Empire Strikes Back version of Star Wars. And I was like, looking forward to it. I was like, she's going to learn her limits. She's going to. Anyways, we'll talk about that abortion of the sequel to that, brother.
Yeah, exactly. So then we get into The Last Jedi, and what do we get? He throws his lightsaber over his shoulder. Why didn't you have Benny Hill music played when that happened?
Right.
Da 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 da. You know, the yakety sax.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I had it playing right now as I said that. You know, but it was ridiculous. He throws his lightsaber over his shoulder. Are you insane? I mean, Rian Johnson, you're a round-headed moron. Round-headed moron. I can't say it any clearer than that. Also, I said this in my podcast. You had to be huffing meth and watching Spaceballs. You could not have been watching a single Star Wars movie.
Right.
You know, did you hear about the reporter? There was a reporter who died, and what it was, he was huffing meth, right? And then with a face mask, and the face mask was attached to someone's sphincter.
Oh, that's awesome, bruh. That's absolutely awesome, bruh. Did you hear about the Hillary Clinton donor that loves to OD black male prostitutes?
Ed Buck.
Ed Buck, exactly. As he's butt mowing them. You know, and he's gotten away with murder how many times? They found a new body. No, there was more than that.
Oh, you're kidding me. Oh,
no, there was more than that in his past. Yeah, this is just because these two have made the news. This freak show has been doing this for a while, and the last time didn't cause any investigation. This time now they're investigating. Figure that one out.
Well, you know why? Because maybe they're running low on niggers to kill.
Maybe.
You see that? I could get away with that, you scumbags. How do you like that?
Oh no! If I want to say nigger on my podcast, I can say it. I can say it. I just
you better believe you can say it. That's right.
That's right. I don't.
Screw that crap.
I just
listen.
don't.
I don't think I should be able to get away with it either. You think that? What do you think of that?
No,
I think that's a bunch of crap.
Except
that it's just a word. It doesn't mean anything to people.
And they forget what the true meaning is.
Right.
That meaning was there's a book, a buddy of mine, a black brother of mine that I worked with. I can't really tell you where we were feds.
No,
anyways, awesome dude. We were down in Georgia in 2004 for a certain thing that was going on, and he had to get this book. It was called How to Make a Slave, and it was by some. He was a slave captain, right? And what a lot of people don't know is certain areas where you go, they will have the maid staff actually go through your drawers, and if they find anything subversive, it's going to be reported, and you can lose your job over it. Okay.
Yeah.
And especially on an issue like we were dealing with. Anyways, so I take him out. He buys this. It's a pamphlet, really. It's called How to Make a Slave. And he buys it, he reads it, and he goes, see, this is what black people are looking at. And he's from Tracy, California.
Yeah.
And so he goes, you got to read this, Shuff. And I read it, and
isn't that great? I forgot the name of that thing, but yeah, I'd read that maybe 15 years ago myself.
Yeah.
And what a document. I mean, you guys should all look that up when you're not listening to this. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you the entire story of all this bullshit narrative of white versus black. It's all nonsense, people. It's all nonsense.
I took away from it this, brother, because he says you have to separate the negress from the Negro, so that she becomes dependent on you for the health, comfort, and welfare of her children, and you get the work out of him and the breeding stock out of him. And I said, when I looked at him, that key point, I looked over at him and I said, brother, I said, let me tell you something. They're doing it to us all right now.
Exactly.
And it's true. And it did start 100 years ago for everybody. Actually, less than that. After, because in, what was it, the end of the Civil War. That was the last gasp of states' rights.
That's right, because that was when they burnt down the Capitol building and all the ratified copies of the original 13th Amendment. The
Yep.
original 13th Amendment denoted that lawyers were not to serve in government because they're beholden to a foreign power. And a lot of people don't understand that whole thing. You put those two together. If we had the 13th Amendment intact, there would be no lawyers in government, no lawyers, and we would not have what this is, this current criminal system of justice.
The laws of admiralty. If you do not believe in this, every time you go to a courtroom, guess what the fringe is going to be? Gold.
That's right.
Gold fringe. That is not the United States banner.
It's a maritime flag.
It is a maritime flag. The other maritime flag that you'll see on all USS, that means United States ships, is a field of blue stars, 50 stars. And that's a fact. I've been on military vessels numerous times. So that's the other flag of admiralty. And anyways, but the admiralty flag is the one that gets into the admiral's quarters officially.
That's it. Yep. So understand everybody. This we used to have a system of justice which denoted if you witness a crime and you didn't report that crime, you were guilty of letting that crime happen. That's how it used to be.
Or if you didn't try to intervene.
Right. Yeah. See, I was saying not even just intervene, just says, hey, listen, that guy's doing something bad.
Right.
You know? So, instead, what we have now, we have this so-called system of justice where if you can get a lawyer who can lie boldly enough, he can get you off for murder. Meanwhile, we have people who are completely innocent languishing in prison. I actually know a guy who was in Florida and he was convicted for a crime when he was in Connecticut, and he had a copy of a train ticket showing that he was physically not in the state. So listen, I say like Mike Tyson, even Mike Tyson. I'm going to go with Mike Tyson. That whole thing about going, the girl goes to his hotel room at 2 a.m. Obviously not to play Scrabble. With
right.
With the genius Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
right?
She came to get fucked.
Right. And then, and I understand that he didn't walk her out to the cab in the morning, so she accused him of rape. His lawyer couldn't get him off. He went to jail for 6 years. That lawyer should have served every bit of those 6 years with him. For that shitty defense.
I'll tell you, this will take us back to the Star Wars universe. I've read a lot of the canon, and I think the Mandalorians had the best word for lawyer. They called them pleaders, because that's what they are. They plead your defense. And in the Mandalorian system of justice, the pleader would go to prison with you or be killed with you.
That's awesome.
If you failed. Awesome. And there's a part in it where Boba Fett, he's just sitting on his jail cell and he's waiting to go in front of the courts, and his pleader comes in, and the disdain that he had for that pleader, we're now seeing that erupt in our own society. And I think that's why Trump was elected, is everybody's sick of the lawyers. But anyways, man, we digressed again. But you you can expand on it if you want.
So here's the thing. So Trump is not a righteous man, but Trump is the right man. That's the whole thing. People don't.
He was honest about it. He grabbed him by the pussy. So what? He's a billionaire.
See, here's the whole thing. He was talking about grabbing him by the pussy. He was surprised that this actually goes on in Hollywood. What he's described, and this is just like Goebbels and The Big Lie, he was describing a situation. He wasn't telling you that he was part of the situation. He said, "This is incredible. I can't believe that this actually happens."
No,
right? So that's what they do in Hollywood, people.
I was trying to make a joke when I said he grabs him by the pussy. I know he physically didn't do that, but even if he did, he's a billionaire.
Even if he did, who cares? Right? Exactly. Listen, no one cares that Harvey does it. Harvey Weinstein has had his fingers, and I'm going to say it clearly. He had his fingers inside every woman that ever crossed his casting couch. Each and every one. Don't even think that's not true.
And probably some of the men. Honestly.
And probably some of the men, yeah.
And kids. There's something degenerate, dude.
There's nothing sacred about those freaks. You don't understand what they did to all those kids in Hollywood? I mean, it's just sick. Corey Haim is dead because Charlie Sheen went to rape him in the ass.
And not just that, man. Look at Michael Jackson. The king of pop met the president. this, that, and the other. Everybody forgets about the Franklin scandal. They always forget about Barney Frank and his lover running a male prostitution ring out of his apartment in D.C. And,
that's right.
And I've pointed out, he got up on the stage and he in front of Congress and everybody, and he points out, it's famous. You can see it. I'm probably sure you can find it on YouTube now, but you could see it live when they were going to censure him and maybe kick him out of Congress. And he goes, if I go down, all of you, and he's pointing to the Republican and the Democrat side, are going down also, because he knew. Why do you think Heidi Fleiss got killed?
Exactly.
They know the degeneracy that exists, and it's a fucking cover-up. Anyways, dude, you've hit my top hot button. Sorry.
Listen, this is Deborah Jean Palfrey, right? A week before she's found hung, she said she'll never kill herself. Oh, did she change her mind? Because she had a black book with most of DC's finest in it?
Of course.
No, she was murdered, people. She was murdered. Yep. Jeez. It's just incredible.
The hypocrisy, a mutual friend of ours, you see him in the chat a lot on our certain place we all are on.
Yeah.
He'll always point out hypocrisy this, hypocrisy that. I love the guy. He's a good dude. I'm not going to talk shit about him. But it has degenerated to where a good dude, a good American, I like the guy. Yeah. He is locked in a paradigm, unfortunately. I'm not locked in it. I look at the left. And I will say the left is reporting honestly about a lot of things with certain people. Like Tim Pool.
Yeah, Tim Pool's great.
Yeah.
He's great. He took Jack Dorsey out, baby, out.
Oh yeah, because
and smack Joe Rogan on the way too.
Oh yeah, and fucking whatever her name, Vagina, that was there with Jack Dorsey, his lawyer,
his pleader. Yeah, pleader.
Exactly.
I'm gonna start using pleader.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, we're going Mandalorian, baby.
Yeah, baby. That's
undying loyalty. But anyways, the point is, the greater point is that Americans are waking up. Why are people like Styx Hexenhammer, and trust me, I've seen it with his page, he has so many people, and his views have always been so high, yet now they're shrinking. Look what's happening on WPRPN. Even my shows, my little shows, and then the fuckery that was afoot the other day on the live stream, where Jaffe and I were talking, and I'm like, look, he goes, it must be what you're looking at. I said, no, it's not. And I said, here's from my equivalent to a live stream. Since I have no strikes, they have not banned my live stream, but they have. I cannot get on live stream without them being cut up like every minute or so. It's ridiculous. So that's why I have to record these and upload them. And on my upload, there's a thing you can do, Premiere, where I can actually chat with the people. That's the only thing I've been able to find to fix this. And the interesting point is, on his live stream, the only thing showing up, and it was only in Western, in America that this happened, because the one female on it said that happened, so did the one guy in the chat. They had, like, children's shows under a show where he's live streaming about real political topics on our last stream last Tuesday at 11 p.m. Look it up. WPRPN, World Pirate Radio Podcast Network, folks. It's WPRPN News.
You want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
So watching my friend David Arthur's show this morning. David Arthur is a guy who he turned into a tranny for 30 years. At 15, he left home and decided to sell himself. Right?
Okay.
So for 30 years, and he's got a hell of a story. IBelongAmen.com if you want to see something incredible. Right? So 30 years he did this, and one night he had a scare. Some guy came back. He says, "Listen, you're not a man, right?" He says, "Yes, I am." He says, "Well, if you're a man, you're dead." And he had his compatriots reach into his pants, and as the story goes, they didn't find the equipment they were looking for, and he's still alive.
Wow.
right? And so who knows what happened there, right? And then he's laying on a deathbed. He's actually he contracted AIDS. This is what he
Right.
did, right? On his deathbed, he says, Christ, save me, save me. He is transformed. He no longer has AIDS.
That's
you tell
powerful.
Me how that happened.
Yeah, that's
you
powerful.
Tell me how that happened. Right?
Miracles.
So this morning, his show was on. I got a screenshot of it. There are children's shows under his feed. He's talking about watching for child predators, and all of a sudden his show is followed by a bunch of kids shows, just like on Jaffe's.
Yeah, and the thing is Jaffe being out of country, he's not getting that feed. Anybody that's overseas is not seeing the suggested stuff. He's like, it must be what you're looking at. And when I did my thing, there's Chip Chipperson, because I listened to that. A bunch of Game of Thrones stuff. I screenshotted all that, and I'm like, Jaffe, this is what I look at. This is what I see anywhere I go. If I'm listening to a live stream, I don't care if I'm listening to Owen Benjamin, whoever.
Exactly.
It's all there. Dan Bongino, it's all there. And it boggles the mind that, but see, that's also a tunnel vision thing that I think we're seeing within all the communities, is that they're trying to falsify what you're looking at, trying to falsify, anybody who comes there.
Good segue.
To see that, why has he got all these kid things on here? What's this guy about? Right? It's a setup.
Yeah, so we're gonna go back to now. We're gonna go to Rotten Tomatoes. Let's go. We're going back to Captain Marvel, guys. We tie all this stuff together. Even though we start shooting around, we shoot around so we can hit all the targets. So here we go. So, Disney had a guy who shot off after working for Disney for a decade, went to go work for Fandango. Fandango purchased Rotten Tomatoes.
Right.
Rotten Tomatoes is a movie site aggregator. So. They put up Captain Marvel, and they had something which was I want to see gauge. So how much am I anticipating seeing Captain Marvel? So of course when the movie starts up, it says the high 90s. Yeah, it's a new movie. Everybody wants to see it.
I remember this. Yeah.
Then Brie Larson comes out with white man. So the number starts dropping like a fat guy over a cliff, right? And it reaches 28%. 28% of people say they could care less about seeing this stupid movie, since you told most of the people who were going to see it to stay away anyway. So they got their balls in the dander, and they took 58,000 of these reviews and they Orwelled them. They're gone.
They have, dude, I have seen this happen. They have deleted comments. And even Rogan did it after the first Tim Pool show. The first one. No, it wasn't cowardice. It was just, it was the most downvoted show he's ever had. Or no, it wasn't Tim Pool. I'm sorry. It was that caused Tim Pool. It was when he actually interviewed Twitter's executive.
Right,
and,
Dorsey.
Jack Dorsey. And man, they removed comments in real time. I saw 4 of my comments get deleted.
Wow.
And Rogan said, we didn't do that. Yeah, you kind of did.
You kind of did, Joe. Yeah, that's not good, man. It's not good.
And he suffered. People unsubscribed. I didn't, because I wanted to see. I had faith. But Rogan even has his issues. I think Alex has talked about it, and Owen has talked about it.
Yeah.
But, Owen right now, I love the guy. I'll still watch some of his stuff.
I just heard Owen rattle off a bunch of stuff. I've never heard anyone just cover subjects just like he did. It was awesome, just awesome. So listen to his episode 505 today. If you don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay, I haven't watched that.
Get a beer and sit back in a nice easy chair, because you're going to get blown away.
Well, here's a point. I'm sub to him, right?
Yeah.
Guess what didn't pop up in my sub feed?
And is that something? So YouTube, why are you being cowards? Listen, if let things, your algorithms, we know that you're making the algorithms do what they do. Algorithms don't do what they do by themselves.
It takes a human.
Programmed.
Yep.
That's right. don't say that you don't know that we're not responsible. What you did with that Brie Larson thing, you turned Brie Larson's name into a news item. So all of a sudden, all she gets is glowing press from the sycophant press, from the lapdog press, and not honest reviews from people. Okay? When you tell white men to stay away from your movie, well, they're going to stay away from your movie along with everybody else. Okay?
Yeah, it's funny. They say white men. Guess what? This is so all of you people on the left can understand. You say white men, guess what? Black men, Asian men, the people who are intelligent will realize you're saying men, stay away. And guess what? We're half the population, and your money's going to go down. And we're talking men now, not the soy boys, not the little boys that I may have a Q in my hair now that I'm growing it out to cover my bald cunt ass. No, I'm serious. I'm going bald in the back.
So let it shine, brother. Don't worry about it.
I've grown.
No big deal.
No. Hey, look. I understand a bald head or a balding spot is nothing more than a solar-powered fucking sex machine. I get that.
There you go.
But the point being is, as you age, males have, a certain thing. We have that male pattern baldness, and I'm probably wearing hats since I was 17 in the military. Hasn't helped. Dude, I didn't wear a hat at all. I had a luscious head of hair. Elvis would have envied my shit. But the Beatles didn't have shit on me. But it only started happening about a year ago. So it's funny as hell. You take a bath and all of a sudden you're pulling hair out of the daggone bottom of the tub and you're like, what the hell?
What's going on? All right.
All right, brother. So go on and riff, man. I love the way you riff. This is why I bring on quality people, folks. This is why. Vinny from Brooklyn, prime example.
Yeah, so 58,000 reviews in the memory hole, gone, right? And then they tried to bring it back with the fake reviews. What they did was they faked the reviews. If you look at them, you'll see a lot of them are the exact same boilerplate crap. It's nonsense. and then, even doing that, guess what? It's still rotten. It's still dropped. It's still dropped to being rotten. So this is what they're up to now. So Disney has insisted, and this happened yesterday, if you went to go see Endgame early. If you went to go see Endgame early, all the theaters were forced to run a showing of Captain Marvel in order to show Endgame. Think of how insane that is.
What the fuck?
They're trying to push. Here's the thing. Here's the truth of it. And I'm finding a bunch of people on YouTube right now as we speak that Disney bought at least 1/3, if not 2/3, of the tickets for the first week of the showing. Dude, empty theaters. They were showing the movie to empty theaters, brother. It's been proven by a whole bunch of people. Empty theaters. So Brie Larson had this whole crowd fund, which really sickens me. She had a crowd fund to get girls to see her movie. Well, why did you just tell them to go to the empty theaters? If you really wanted them to see your movie. But guess what? Your movie was so bad, it wasn't even good enough to show for free. Think about that, Brie Larson. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to actually get real ticket sales to your movie. I guarantee you that it's not even going to work. And all they're doing is they're tanking their guaranteed winner, Endgame, so they can make Captain Marvel look decent. And it still isn't going to work. It's going to fail. Fail. What do you think of that, Disney? The rat on the 40 deuce. Terrible. What I call them the rat on the 40 deuce is, well, 42nd Street used to be called the 40 deuce in
right.
New York vernacular, right? And Disney, it's a rat. All right, Mickey is just a rat. It's not a mouse. It's a rat.
Exactly. Here's the thing that's funny. I heard you riffing on it, and Disney is such a monolith, and they're taking over everything, and so the little shops that used to be around, like Lucas Films, look, that was a creation in 77 when it came out.
You got it.
And I remember seeing it. I think it came out like late summer, but for a Christmas treat or a Thanksgiving treat, I can't remember which. Our actual physical uncle, John, he took me and my twin sister out to see it. Oh, do you not know what that fed in a young man's mind? And that's the thing. They're taking a sense of...
They're destroying our youth.
Our sense of wonder.
Dude, do you know, that 1977, I had the book. I took the book to the movies. I was reading the book and glancing up at the screen, and everything worked out. It was awesome.
Well, now the geekdom is going to come out in me. I had The Adventures of Luke Skywalker before it came out. It was not called A New Hope.
Right.
And I'd read it as a young kid, and it was written to where a young kid could read it. And that's what that movie was based off of. And I still have that book, by the way. It's worth a little bit. But it just amazes me that what people do, man. I mean, you want to still a child's innocence through pedophilia. You want to still their sense of wonder, their sense of, there's something I've said on my page before. You know what fueled my direction was a book called Sad Swashbuckler. And it was about the life of William Walker. And William Walker is the only American, but wait till I tie this in and this will blow your flipping mind. William Walker was what they called a filibuster, which is somebody that goes in, but he became president of Nicaragua. That's fact, historical fact.
Wow.
And he had run afoul with Commodore Vanderbilt. Now you have to remember Commodore Vanderbilt, Gloria Vanderbilt's grandfather, and now let's bring it to CNN. Who's Anderson Cooper's grandmother?
Hello, Frisco.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. These power families, people don't understand. I've run across this stuff in my lifetime. Like I say all the time, man, I've just Forrest Gumped myself through my life. I'm sure you have too, being in Brooklyn and doing what you do. Yeah. You've run into some of these same freak shows. But some of the people, that's the thing that's so weird. Some of the people in those families, the rebels, the ones that really are disdainful of it, and they're the black sheep, to be sure, they push back harder in their families than anybody. And that's my 2 cents. And your thoughts, brother?
No, you're right on point, brother. That's the whole thing. So it's appalling. I did a podcast titled "Your Money's No Good Here," right? And the point I'm trying to get across is we can't allow Disney or any of these other companies to buy a single new franchise. All right, because all they're doing is destroying them. I believe they just purchased Fox, and here's how it goes. They purchased just the business side. They're not going to mess with. They purchased the entertainment side. They don't care about the business side. No, the business side is a propaganda side, and trust me, it'll be absorbed soon.
Yep.
Okay. And then they're going to turn Fox into another CNN. All right. I don't think we need another CNN. In fact, we don't. We need Fox to actually be real, the real Fox, and not this pretend conservatism.
The only people on Fox right now that are even spitting truth, Hannity. They were able to get rid of Bill O'Reilly. I still have respect for him. He didn't diddle kids. Look, those women knew what they were doing. Look.
Well, it's just like the Hollywood thing. The Me Too thing is fake. You know what the Me Too thing is fake? If they're all transvestites in Hollywood, then there's no gender division, and they're all sodomites anyway, and they're all banging each other. So that whole thing, all you see in these magazines and all this other stuff, it's all fake. It's all subterfuge. It's all a big diversion. So
you're exactly right.
Yeah. It's all nonsense.
It blows both of our minds. Now, here's the funny thing. We have touched on so many issues, and we've had good humor in it. It's not like there's a thing. And yet, this false dichotomy you're seeing of white nationalist,
nonsense,
racist.
Absolute nonsense. White nationalist. Van Jones, right? Van Jones called it a white lash. White lash.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Well, Van Jones, here I am, And I got a mirror right behind me. And, wow, you know what? I don't look too white, guy. I'm trying to see where, how this white lash works when I voted for Trump.
And your hair's a little kinky. It's okay, man. Here's the thing that blows me away. I got to visit. And this, everybody knows about it. You know about it, bro. You know, I happen to be captured in Charlottesville, a protest for a statue. And it was Robert E. Lee. Look, this is communism 101. You take down the statues, you make everybody forget their history, and then they won't fight for anything because they've forgotten their history. That's what that was about.
Right, one of the 11 rungs of cultural Marxism, everyone.
Exactly. From the Frankfurt School that started where? In Columbia University. People forget, and it made its way to Hollywood very quickly, and it seems funny that all the names echo. But here's the funniest part. Is CNN and whatever it was, Vice, captured me, and it was because of camera angle, in all honesty. If you were to see it from the proper perspective, and the FBI knew this when they came and visited me, I was bodyguarding a podcaster, a really decent dude. He likes to say those words that you and I were like, oh, that's taboo, except you can say them on my channel. And and so can I. It looks like I was bodyguarding David Duke. That's what it looks like.
And guess what?
And David Duke, hold up.
He deserves a bodyguard too.
No. Wait till you hear it. Wait till you hear the truth.
Yeah.
David Duke. This is the first time I'm saying it publicly. I told it to them, and they were like, "No, he's taking advantage of all these kids." I said, no, man. He rode up in a Mercedes. And I know the funding, and I know where everything's coming from for him and 2 other people. But since I'm captured with him on film, I might as well tell you, I've kept my mouth shut for far too long. David Duke is on the payroll of the FBI. He's COINTELPRO. And so once he shows up, then they can say white supremacist. Right. And look what they're doing to Trump right now with the Charlottesville rally.
The whole thing is stupid, though. It's insane. I don't understand how they can get away with this nonsense narrative. It makes no sense.
Heather Heyer's mother, the day after it happened, said she died of a heart attack. No impact.
Well, you know what? They're trying to discount the fact that James Field was scared out of his bloody mind.
What do you think
he's going to do? What do you think he's going to do?
They already bashed his window. I mean,
he's supposed to sit in the car and let them kill him just like that. What kind of mental patients are they're trying to gauge this whole thing?
They were coming at him with guns.
Right.
You had Redneck Riot and the other bullshit assholes with AKs. The only guns I saw, and I stand corrected on one thing because I didn't see it. I thought it was a bullshit story where a guy fired a round into the ground to get some dude throwing flame out of a spray can at him to back away. Nobody got hurt, but he did fire a round. That dude's now doing time. And that James guy, I think he was a scared dude all alone, and he didn't have... And there's some other things I think too, and I don't want to get into that. But
no need to. But yeah.
I think I pretty much have a handle on what happened. It was a setup. Mike Siner, I bodyguarded him in Afghanistan with a writer from HuffPo, and I found him to be a decent guy. He had some failings. I mean, I'm not gonna get into that. That's his own foibles.
Right.
But what I will say is I know that he and Terry McAuliffe, who was the governor of that state, this was a fait accompli. This is what and the problem is I didn't see it soon enough to protect my client. So I actually failed on the podcaster guy, and I feel bad for that for the rest of my life. And I failed other people too for not recognizing what was about to happen. That's reality. So this is a cross that I'll bear, and I'll bear it until the day I die.
And that bites because you shouldn't have to bear that crap because you got set up. Everyone there got set up.
It was a setup.
Soup to nuts. I mean, as soon as I saw certain things, I said, "Oh man, this is going to be a friggin' bloodbath." Yeah, I knew exactly what these creeps were trying with this crap.
But it wasn't a bloodbath. It just became a brawl in the streets.
Well,
They expected the streets of New York. They expected that movie scene. And instead, all they got was fistfights and clubs. And people carrying shields on both sides. Yeah, it was so gay. Nobody. I don't think anybody got shot there. I don't think that bullet that guy shot into the ground ricocheted and killed anybody. The only person that died of a heart attack.
Yeah, too many Snickers bars.
Yeah, she was heavily overweight. You know.
Hey, listen, I'm 300 pounds. I can joke about people dying from Snickers bars, okay, people? So I don't want to hear anything. In fact, if you want, send me email, hrc4jail@mail.com. I welcome your emails.
The funniest part to me, bruh, is I'm 220 now. And, I got back from my last tour doing what I do. But it just boggles the mind. But I got that visit, and they were like, yeah, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, guys, they're like, we just don't understand. Why? I said it was.
Is that what they saying to you? Are you really? These
yeah.
Grown FBI men.
Yeah, because they had a 3/8-inch file on me. They knew everything except what they didn't know, and they didn't know what they didn't know.
Apparently, that they're wasting time bothering to visit you.
Well, they had a complaint because my buddy was going through a divorce, and his wife. And the only reason I know this is because one of the guys. Who was there, the FBI used regular cops to come visit local people because honestly, in some states like mine, the FBI, unless they've got a warrant or something like that, have no real authority. But in my state, thank God, they also have to have, so it's not considered, neighbors might think it's a home invasion, this, that, and the other. So they won't raid your house and they won't show up, but they still have their rules to people. You can tell a Fed from a civilian or from a civil cop is they always travel in pairs like butt cheeks. Right. And so when they visit, they'll be in a pair. And one was a Columbus cop, one was a Franklin County Sheriff's deputy, detective. They were both detectives. Yeah. And the one guy's talking, and I happen to have a friend that was a mutual because he's a retired detective, and I knew this guy knew him. And the Columbus cop had no idea about this. And I made him look stupid right in front of that deputy. And the deputy laughed about it. And I said, oh, let me tell you something. I said, you know this guy, and I'm not going to say his name. And he goes, yeah. And made his little comment. And I said, that's exactly right. That's who it is. He's a Blackfoot Indian. His mother was like my mother. My mother was like his mother. And I looked over at that Columbus cop, and I said, next time you call me a racist, a white separatist, I said, you better know what the fuck you're talking about.
Oh, it just makes you ill, doesn't it?
At the end of it, he goes, are you going to the same company you were with the last time you were in the country I went to? I said, nah, it's another country. But see, I didn't know there was 3 places I could go. Africa, Afghanistan, Iraq. I'm not going to say it on this thing where I was going.
Right. Yep.
But I went to that thing, and he had said it right, and I knew exactly where it come from because I had to get fingerprints taken for my security clearance since it had lapsed. And I was like, thank you. I know exactly who told you. I'd only said it one time. Yeah.
That's all you got to do. See, I know. See, you see that information. You let it all come back. That's how Trump knows what's actually going on in his administration.
Oh,
exactly. That's how he finds all the links. That's why he used Scaramucci. He only needed Scaramucci for 10 days, people. That's why Scaramucci came in, took out his target, and was done.
Why you think Flynn was in for so short time? Flynn knew where the bodies of the pedophiles were buried.
And listen, Flynn deserves every bit of his money back. He should take every friggin' cent back.
Sue the government for every dime he's had to do for his defense.
Of crap.
Yeah.
What a bunch of crap, man. Oh.
Well, you don't think that if I hit certain nerves that they won't come after me? Fuck yeah, they will. But the problem is, I don't own anything. My house, everything that's in my house is owned by my wife.
There you
or
go.
my
Smart
son,
man.
or my
Smart
son.
Man.
You're
right.
not. You're not gonna take my home. I've got no assets. I am a poor man, and I need public pleader.
Hey, you know, all they can take is you, and they don't really want you, brother. That's the thing.
Oh, especially now, I'm fucked up all over the place with my lung infection, so they don't want to spend that kind of coin keeping me alive.
Well, they'll have to. They can't do otherwise.
They got to. And if I do, if something does happen, I have a no heroic efforts. You're not allowed to save me. Let me expire. See, that's man world.
Make your wife and kids rich. And
That's
here's
it.
the whole thing. We know your wife and kids don't care about the bloody money. That's not the point. But to make those bastards hurt, that's what they need to do.
Oh, the publicity would be horrible, and they know that too because in my community, I'm well known. That's why they were like, "We don't understand this." I'm like,
yeah.
Well, you got a 3/8-inch file on me, buddy. You should understand something. I'm thinking in my mind. I didn't say it to them.
Yeah.
But, they thought they knew something. Yeah, a lot of people think they know shit. But unless you actually know how to do intelligence, you don't know fuck all.
That's it. Forget about it. So here we go. So we go back to Marvel. So they bought Marvel, and this is what they did with Marvel, man. It looks like someone got an idea that, we need to end the Marvel universe because it's about to get destroyed. And they did that. So Jonathan Hickman wrote Secret Wars, and they destroyed the Marvel Universe. The Marvel Universe started in 1961, and it ended in 2016. That's the Marvel Universe. So now we have I'm calling it the new Marvel Universe, or let's call it the new universe. In fact, like Jim Shooter tried to start back in 1986. Right. This is
right.
Exactly. It's a sleeper, right? But this is the new universe, and what we got Iron Man is a black chick. Thor is Jane Foster. Captain America was the Falcon for a little bit. What other stupid crap did they do to Marvel? The Hulk is Amadeus Cho now. The Hulk is a little Chinese guy.
Really?
Yeah. Or he's a Korean. I don't want to get get that wrong because people always. I know how to tell everyone apart, so I don't make this.
Well, you know what? Maybe he's Chinese, and the reason I say that is how much the Chinese have bought into Hollywood.
It's possible. Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's all they destroyed Marvel. It's all destroyed. Now when they first started, it actually looked like there were some cool innovations. Like, for example, there's a character called Mad Dog, and he was reimagined in the Hellcat series, and he actually looks fantastic. It's probably the best rendition of Buzz Baxter I've ever seen in comics. So I was okay with that. And Squirrel Girl was actually kind of irreverent. I liked the artist. He actually does some funky stuff. The artist could actually draw Galactus, which was amazing. But and then they started believing their own hype. So like we got Mockingbird. And Mockingbird is just a woman, right? She has no special powers whatsoever. She was a SHIELD agent.
Right.
Right? And it ends up that she was able to murder, well, he really killed himself, but able to murder the Phantom Rider. The Phantom Rider took a liking to her back in West Coast Avengers number 8 or 9.
Okay.
Right? And it ends up on a time travel adventure. With like it was actually a fantastic adventure. But what happened was Hawkeye is trying to get his wife back. He's married to Mockingbird. So he goes through all this stuff and gets back with his wife. But what she doesn't tell him is that she had to kill the Phantom Rider because he raped her and drugged her. And
wow.
Because she didn't tell him, he found out later, it destroyed the marriage.
An interesting thing is, back in my early days when I was a kid, this is 70s era.
Yeah.
I remember getting comics, and this will make you laugh your dick off. Maybe you know about them, maybe you don't. But there were independent comics, too. And one of them was a DC, actually. One of them, I believe, I'll have to go get my copies, but I think they were DC. One was Weird War, because I was a war comic guy.
Yeah.
And Sergeant Rock, which they had, rumored they were going to make a Easy Company Sergeant Rock movie with Brad Pitt years ago.
Yeah.
And I think that morphed into that one where he was a tank commander. I can't think of the name of that movie.
Fury, or something like that?
Yeah, Sergeant Fury or some shit. But the best one ever, if Hollywood wanted to listen to me, or any indie guy out there that's good at movies, the best one was Viking Commando.
Nice.
That was an epic comic. If you ever find them, I've got a couple. If you ever find them, same with Weird War and Sergeant Rock, trust me. That is probably the best idea for a movie. Viking Commando, Sergeant Rock, and Weird War. Weird War was, well, you have to look at it. So
yeah, exactly. No, Weird War Tales. Yeah, that was good stuff.
Yeah.
Joe Kubert cannot be beat. One of the best creators out there.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Here we go. So let's go back. I'm going to go back to the movies, right? So Marvel does. They put out Avengers, right? A blockbuster of a movie, fantastic movie, right? Can't be beat. Then they come out.
Right.
They come out with the Iron Man movies, right? Iron Man started, then the Avengers and all that, right? So fantastic stuff. And then we get this Captain Marvel. So let me give you my scenario. I believe everyone will agree with me when I go through this. So here's a post credit scene that we didn't see, and should have been. So Captain America has just, the Avengers have just saved the Earth from the Chitauri invasion, right? So here's Captain America. They just finished the falafel, so he goes to Times Square to go see some people and just say, hey, don't worry, we'll save you every time. So he's up there with his shield, and everyone's, oh, Captain America, you're the greatest, and he's just showing off the physique, and the girls, oh, I want your children, and a purse snatcher is in the crowd. And the purse snatcher says, there's no better time than now to get myself a nice fat purse, and then I can go get stoned, coked out, whatever, and enjoy myself, right? So he goes and grabs the purse. He doesn't make it 10 feet when a little tiny fist knocks that sucker out of nowhere, right?
Right.
And now you see all of a sudden that little tiny fist is attached to a figure with a hat and glasses on. Everything is covered, so all you can see is that there's a person there, pretty much. And the person does a salute to Captain America. Captain America returns the salute with the shield, and they disappear. And you say nothing else about the scene. So now that's a post-credit scene we didn't see. So now the internet is abuzz. What was that?
Really?
Who was that? Right? Next movie, Iron Man 2. Another post-credit scene. Another kind of scene like that. Another kind of crime that gets solved by this figure that comes out of nowhere. But this time the figure takes off the hat, and now you can see the figure is blonde.
Male or female?
We don't know yet. We just know it's blonde. Right? Next post-credit scene in Doctor Strange. Another crime thwarted, and this time you see it's a blonde chick. Right?
Okay.
And you keep doing that, and then you have Captain Marvel, and that's the answer to all the post-credit scenes that never had an answer. Now, if Marvel had done that, don't you think that Captain Marvel might have been accepted a little better? Instead of just shoving her in as this character out of nowhere, who's the most powerful character in the world, but they didn't need her for the first Avengers movie. They didn't need her for Ultron.
Right, and no, I totally get it. I
How
think
stupid is that?
It's fucking retarded. It'd be like putting a Punisher out there like that, or
right. All of a sudden, right, exactly. Punisher in Endgame. All of a sudden, the Punisher is the guy that kills Thanos because he comes up behind him, just a normal guy in a skull shirt, and drops a grenade in his shirt and blows up his head.
That's epic. That's what the Punisher would do. Yeah, no, right? I mean. And then they even lose the back history of the Punisher in some of the movies too, where he was a Marine. He was a Marine officer, and they touched on it in the James. I can't think of his name.
Thomas Jane.
Thomas Jane. Yeah, Thomas Jane's movie. That was as close to the book, but the actual comics, that would have been Oh shoot! Why am I mind up in the name?
No. If you're gonna rip off Garth Ennis completely, because the guy's a better storyteller than anybody in Hollywood.
Oh yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
They should have just done his book straight out. Yeah, that would have been awesome.
And his book character, though, Thomas Jane's awesome. There's one where it's a fan-made movie, and it's actually really good. You can find it on YouTube, where he's going to the laundromat and things happen.
I can only imagine. I think because listen, Garth Ennis made A Trip to the Zoo epic.
Yeah,
you remember issue 4 of that Punisher series.
Oh, dude, I used to get Punisher Warzone when it was black and white.
Yeah,
but the second character they did was I can't think of his name, and actually it's the third character because the first one was Dolph Lundgren, which was sadly cast.
Yeah,
Thomas Jane was good with the skill set, and so was the third character, and I can't think of his name, but the black hair. He had black hair by this time, which is what the Punisher always had.
Right.
He was the guy you wouldn't notice. He was the gray man, the consummate gray man, except for when you saw his shirt.
Right. Once you saw the shirt, once you saw it, it's the last thing you saw anyway.
Yeah, and it was his kit. Damn, I wish I could remember that dude's name. I think he was Australian. But anyways, he's the one who goes in and kills the mafia at the table. Anyways, it was that was actually, and a matter of fact, there's a nod to Brad, if I remember right. Give my Bradstreet.
Right, Tim Bradstreet.
Tim Bradstreet, yeah.
What an artist that guy is. That guy incredible.
Phenomenal. In the hotel.
I didn't realize the guy does this stuff. It's just, and he did them monthly. I mean, I know it'd take me years to do the drawing like that. The guy's just bangs them out. It's awesome.
The black and white drawings were better, but people forget that the Punisher was introduced under Spider-Man. He was assigned to kill Spider-Man.
Exactly. Amazing Spider-Man 129.
That's right. And the interesting parts is they just don't see the character. That's the thing about a Mary Sue. And then again, I'm going to put Mary Sue back up. A flawless character with zero justifications or development. That's what she is. And
exactly.
Guess what? That's not anybody I want to be.
Exactly. What pretty much here's the whole thing. If I woke up one day and I had the sum total of the knowledge of the universe, I guess that would be it.
Yeah.
Just lay back down and just take me.
You can die now.
There's nothing else I need to know. Right,
you can die now. I mean, think about it. Here on this podcast, you and I have both, and guess what, brother? We're both different, quote unquote. I hate the word race because it's stupid.
We're the human race.
Because exactly, it's one thing, yeah. And so do everybody, dude. A person earns their cred with me through honor and understanding, and if you fell on those two levels, then guess what? No cred, and you're just another person. But no,
you know what it is, brother? Mm-hmm. It's humanity versus humanity. If you understand my meaning.
I do. Yeah. The echo.
Yeah.
But yeah, right? No. The thing I'm trying to get with on that is it's earned. It's not given.
Exactly. And they're walking around trying to give her respect. You got to earn that, baby. You don't get to walk in the room and say, respect me, honey, because that's what she's doing. She thinks she's some stupid diva. I'm the queen bee, baby. And when I come in the room, you better all that crap.
I have never, including one of the best units I was in, the 1st FSG, as a military policeman in the Marine Corps and the 73rd Infantry Brigade separate. That's another story. I was very blessed to have great mentors throughout my time. And I've had, a couple crap units, but that's okay. That comes. Come shit or bleed, good and bad comes.
You just hope to get more good than bad. That's all.
I did. See, that's the thing. As a bastard, brother, I was like a little bitch boy, mama's boy. I mean, my mother, when I got in my first fight, I think I was maybe 5 or something, and the kid was 7. I got first time I got my nose bloodied over Army men. I'll never forget why it happened. My mother locked the screen door and said, "Go kick his ass. You're not coming in without it." And by the end of it, I made him eat dirt.
Hey, this is the same thing happened with me, brother. I was just playing basketball. A guy pushed me into a broken bench. Brooklyn, there's tons of broken benches out there.
Right.
I go upstairs to change my pants. He said, "What happened to you?" I said, "Just a little accident." You better get back downstairs and take care of business. I go, "Okay. All right."
Well,
okay,
I didn't have no choice. Hardcore Betty locked that door. I wasn't getting in. And I'm like, "Mommy, you heard me." And she's like, "No, you go kick his ass, Jamie." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm about to do that now because I'm getting in my house again."
Because I'm getting in, yeah, you better believe it. Yeah,
and I was talking shit. I was talking shit. I got his face in a mud puddle, and I'm like, "Eat dirt, eat dirt." What does a 5-year-old know? It was just hilarious looking back on it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But his little blonde hair getting all muddy. I'll never forget that. Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Good shit.
Yeah, I love those things, man. Hey, listen, I didn't start fights, but I finished them. That's all it was. I'm a happy guy.
Yeah, there's no need not to be, and that's the other thing. They say, "Oh, it's hate. It's hate."
It's nonsense.
You know what? Complete nonsense. What it is? It's a bunch of internet people that want to say, because they know it riles people. Yeah, I'm a Nazi. I'm a fascist. I even tell people, you're all fascists now or Nazis. So if some leftist comes up and says you're a Nazi, a neo-Nazi, whatever, including you. Yeah, exactly. You. Thank you. And I'm not just a neo-Nazi. I'm an ardent Nazi, or I'm an ardent fascist.
I consider it a badge of honor. I'm a bigot, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah. Eat my ass, suck my dick. I don't care.
You tell me you're going to normalize pedophilia, I say F you. How about that?
Yeah, exactly. You're going to normalize communism? Fuck you. I fucking know what communism looks like.
United States. There's no communism here, so get the hell out. Go to Venezuela. Go eat some zoo animals, you stupid ass.
Exactly.
How about
that? Exactly. It's the whole... Dude, it's so funny. The people on my page, there may be some that, might be quote-unquote alt-right. They're digging you, and I'm telling you they're digging you. Because you're the talented 10. You understand. And that's what's so sad is the black... Look, nationalism, in all honesty, is about you're proud of your fucking country and you'll stand for it. Amen, that's not a dirty fucking word.
You got that right. Yeah,
and it's not
never
civic.
Be a dirty word in my language. Exactly. Please.
It's not civic nationalism. I'm a nationalist to my country that I have fucking put my blood, sweat, and tears into.
And you absolutely have.
And if you want to call me a fucking National Socialist, I'll fucking wear that with pride. You want to call me a fascist, I'll wear it with goddamn pride. But see the difference, and here's the funniest shit. All these people they call fascist. You can go all the way down to Chile with Mi General, right?
Yeah.
And he was a nationalist, but he's a fascist, right? Because he gave 3,500 people helicopter rides. Well, they were communist. He fixed his country.
Yeah, what are you supposed to do with them?
Yeah.
Give him a helicopter ride.
Give him a helicopter ride. Hey, you know what? I think the same thing should be done in my country. If they have issues, give them a helicopter ride 12 miles out. They have a shot of swimming back. You have their name. If they don't float up to the beach, if they swim up under their own power, guess what? You're an American citizen.
There you go.
There you go. That's your chew. That will tell me if you're a taker or you're going to be a giver and you're going to strive and you're going to understand America is something to be earned, not to be given.
Exactly. It makes me nuts that people are completely wasting, citizenship and just being leeches. You're coming here. You're coming to help America. You're not coming to take from America. If you're coming to take from America, guess what? We're going to push back. All right? You need to know that.
You saw what they're doing to the guys that were patrolling the border.
What is with those cops?
Well, it's because of leadership. They're not enforcing the law. It's perfectly legal for militia, and you're seeing this develop again from the 80s, or not the 80s, under the Clintons. Yeah. This would have been in the 90s.
Yeah.
You're seeing this shit where they're vilifying militias again.
The Murrah Building, Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Ruby Ridge.
Which was also a setup. And Timothy McVeigh's death is dubious at best. And I can talk to you about that offline.
Oh, yeah.
I actually went to school at FLETC with somebody who was on his death team, and he was an instructor. And he's an honest man, a good man, but his answered everything I needed to know.
Yeah, well, listen, even when they don't tell you, they tell you.
No, offline, after class and stuff. I said, I got a question for you, brother. And he's like, what? Shuff, He's maintaining his, instructor decorum. He's an awesome dude. I'm never going to give his name up. You could fucking pull my fingers out. I would never say.
There you go.
And I was like, I met somebody once, and you made the statement you were on his death team. I said, I think I met that guy. Did he really die? And he goes, and this guy would have said yes or no, right?
Yeah.
He said, instead, here's his answer.
Oh, this will be good.
I cannot talk about it.
There you go. Done.
And I said,
just
cool.
Like, I cannot talk about this report on Israeli spying on the United States. It's classified information.
Even though it's happened numerous times in history, right?
Ooh. Hey,
kind of interesting.
Kalia, right?
Yeah.
Kalia turned our wiretaps into a megaphone, people.
Yep.
That's what people don't understand. Carl Cameron was supposed to put out a 12-part report, and he only got 4 parts out.
Not just that.
Spying.
Not just that. Look at CARE, unindicted co-conspirators.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what's happening with the Southern Poverty Law Center. First off, there's nothing Southern about them. They're not under poverty. They just do law, and they're center and they're dude. You and me are going to be on this list after this show. I'm glad it went where it went, and I don't care.
Yeah.
But they will vilify you as a black man and me as a white man. Yeah.
Yep.
And they'll say we're racist. Okay, cool, whatever. Those words, that's the thing. The power of those words no longer mean anything. If you repeat it and say it often enough, it becomes worthless and meaningless, and it should. Because, look.
Chef, you're an anti-Semite, Chef. You're anti-Semite.
You know what?
Bad.
Even anti-Semites retarded. Because Semites are Iranians, Arabs, and Jews.
Yeah.
And there's too many pictures of me with Arabs, Jews, and Persians.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen because those men earned their spots of honor with me during my lifetime. Same with Russians, Ukrainians, all the steppes, Azerbaijan, all that stuff, man. These people earn their spots. And for me to turn my back on them, well, that says dishonor. And guess what? 3 things you're not going to get. You're not going to get me to break my word, my balls, or my honor.
Amen, brother. Amen.
And
hey,
yep.
Have you ever read Marvel Boy 3 by Grant Morrison and J.G. Jones?
No, I never did. I was not big into the Marvel universe except for a couple things. So I am the moron on that portion.
No moron. No. It's an esoteric book, but it has a very interesting story. So this was, and Captain Marvel is here's the whole thing. Captain Marvel is a property for Marvel. You understand? It's it's sort of like you know about Miracle Man and how that whole thing got crazy because of ownership and misinterpretations of who owned what and things like that. This whole thing with Captain Marvel, is Shazam, and Miracle Man, Marvel Man, all this other stuff is all tied into like weird stuff. But
I remember Shazam and ISIS from the �70s. Actually, Saturday morning show. Those were 2 badass shows.
Right, you used to watch that all the time, right? So they had to keep the Captain Marvel thing going. So they kept making Marvel Marvel Boy and characters like that. So Grant Morrison was hired to write this series, and so he brings another Kree to Earth, just like Marvel came to Earth. There's another Kree that came to Earth. What happened was they weren't going to let him go as easily as they let Captain Marvel go, so they sent after him Hexus, the Living Corporation. And what Hexus did is just it found flaws in businesses and ate them and absorbed them.
I get it, man. I mean, think about, we were just talking about the SPLC, the spit lickers, as I like to call them. The spit lickers, why, if you're a non-for-profit, right? Non-profit, why do you have $400 million in offshore accounts?
Imagine that, huh?
Imagine that. It's for-profit, and why did you have to kick out Morris D's? And why are the rampant, as a black man, you should know this, why would you not let your black people make as much money as all the white people? Oh, guess what? Using their own terminology against them. That's racist! That's racist!
Look at here, look away, Dixieland. This is it's a bunch of nonsense. You understand? It's all talk. All they do is they spout platitudes and they don't mean a damn thing. It's just like I was marveling at how people are talked into doing stupid things like killing themselves to prove devotion. Well, why would you attempt to prove devotion to a sodomite who doesn't have any morals whatsoever? Why would you? What are you proving to them? Were you proving that you have faith and they don't? So okay, good. I've established that. So I should kill myself to prove something to you? No. If you're a godless sodomite, who cares what you think? Who bloody cares? What you're doing is of no consequence to me until when you're affecting me, I'm going to stop you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to turn the other cheek. That's what they need to understand. Don't think you fool me with that nonsense. How I'm supposed to accept all your stupidity and just deal with it. No, I'm going to deal with it my way. And in my way, when I deal with it, you ain't going to like it, brother.
Exactly.
I'll tell you right now.
Exactly. I tell everybody all the time, man, you have to look to the extreme left. Honestly, I'm telling you right now, you have to look to that. You have to look to the extreme right, no matter who you are, if you want to be informed.
Absolutely.
And, I'm not going to give the extreme left websites out, but the extreme right, quote unquote, extreme right, which really isn't. If you listen to that, it's like a walk in the park compared to Jaffe's broadcast.
Right.
And Jaffe's not extreme right. That's the funniest part about it. But if you went over to therightstuff.biz, if you ever listen to it, they're going to use flowerful language. But they actually have a really good news aggregator, which is called Fash the Nation.
Right.
And that's something, you have to look at everybody's thought process, and the truth always lies somewhere in the middle. But actually, here's the fucked up part. Culturally, Fash the Nation is on it. And I will always give those podcasters their just due. And more, it's not so center, it's maybe center right. But I love listening to it. I'm on there every Thursday and Sundays when I can. It's Alternative Currents Radio. Go by the same name you know me as on my page. And you'll see the pic. You'll know who I am. Yep. And they have the Boiler Room. They have on Sundays, Sunday Wire. And it's all on Alternative Current Radio. And honestly, that is where I tell people to go. If you don't want to go extreme right, which to me it's not extreme right, they just curse
every 4 words. That's all it is.
Curse or say one of those bad words, which you and I have already said on this podcast, so we don't have to do it again.
Exactly.
That's the thing, man. And they don't even overuse them, but they do say them. But those are bad people. No, they're not. They're actually good people. They just are sick of the shit. How do you look when the Overton window? I hate that phraseology too, because I've explained that if you put your arms out to your side, left and right, the extremes, if you put them over your head in a circle, they all meet in the middle. Mass extinctions. But there are some people that consistently will lie about how many people have died in certain things. They've consistently become victims for nothing. And it becomes a lockstep thing, man. I don't even get it. You know, the Irish were slaves too.
That's right. Hey, remember the word slave came from Slav.
Slav, yeah.
You know, so people seem to keep forgetting that. You know, they want to just we were slaves, we got whipped and all this other crap. Get out of here. All right, how about no one else has ever had to deal with anything. Is that it? That you got a unique story? Is that the lie we're going? The unique story, and that's why certain people deserve reparations and other people don't. Is that the joke?
Yeah, I think that is a joke, and the joke. You know, the thing that really boggles my mind, the Jewish black guys, you have them in New York, we have them in Columbus and the different areas, you know, the major cities, Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati. The black Jewish guys, you know,
I worked with one. He was very inept.
Yeah,
he looked like he knew what he was doing, but he was a fool.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. They got away with pushing a narrative because of an Indian youthful idiot that they don't care about either.
No, not at all.
They are the most virulent racist besides Farrakhan's folks. I mean, look, there are extremist racists on every side. I'm not going to mention all their names, but you know, we both know this exists in even Jewish organizations. At one time, I would tell you this, in 2004, the SPLC, actually, their hate map was level. You could see the haters that were black, the haters that were white, the haters that were Jewish, the haters that were Arab, everybody's got a hate group. You could actually get real information. And it wasn't till, I'm going to use a word that I said earlier, because I really despise him and his wife. Well, his husband.
His primate.
Yeah, no, it's his husband. She's a tranny. That's why. What's her name?
That's why Joan Rivers is dead.
That's right. That's right. During a easy thing, Michael.
You want to hear another true confession? I actually used to watch Fashion Fleas. Can you believe that?
I would believe it.
Right? Because she as far as comedy goes, she was at the top. She would go off on everybody. It was great. Yeah. And then she admitted that she knew that Barack liked to bite the meat in the back of limos. Yeah. His wife's got a bigger package than he does, probably.
Well, we all saw that. We all saw that with her dance on Ellen. That mysterious little fucking thing that kept swinging.
Oof.
Yeah, you remember white pants. That was a poor. That was
my poor brain.
That was a poor choice, Michael. But the funniest part is, and I don't hate on either of them.
It's not about hate. Exactly. That's what people need to get. It's not about hate. But don't think you're going to put your crap on us and we're just going to go, okay, yes, sir, boss. We sick, boss.
Yeah, but
you mean to kiss your ass, boss? Get out of here.
But
that crap.
But the niggers were put there for a specific reason, to foist hatred and divide this nation.
That's right. But guess what? Guess what the answer to the Obamas is? Leo Max Frank.
Yep.
Leo Max Frank on if everyone doesn't know the story, Leo Max Frank raped and murdered 13-year-old little Mary Fagan and tried to blame it on two black guys.
Yep.
And what I'm telling you is the people of Marietta, Georgia, realized these black guys aren't even that depraved to do what they did to this little girl, and they knew it was a lie. They knew it was a lie, and they found him guilty, and they sentenced him to death. The problem is that his representation, his pleader, was the governor of bloody Georgia. Imagine that.
Yep.
The governor was his pleader. So the governor commuted his death sentence to a life sentence, right? And on August 17th, actually August 18th, he was on his way to a country club where they're going to probably feed him more 13-year-old girls to rape. But instead, August 17th, a day that I'm going to push to be a national holiday, the good people of Marietta, Georgia, broke him out and hung his filthy ass.
Right. Yeah.
Hung him. Do the air jig, baby. That's right. Done.
Yep.
Justice.
And justice is something that should always be local. The federal government, dude, and I, speaking as a former Fed, I'm being very frank and honest with you. Well, I'm always that way with you and Jaffe and everybody on my channel, honestly.
Yeah.
Justice should no longer be. I mean, the DOJ has a point. Like serial killers, certain things, the Unabomber kind of stuff, they have some good assets and some good people. But as an entity, they could push all that into, here's the dirty secret, except for DOD cops and Homeland cops, and what I'm talking about is Border Patrol, okay? Those are annotated in our actual Constitution. Every other federal agency, guess where they get their authority?
Supposed to be from us, isn't it?
No. No, it's from the Marshals Act.
Ah.
Yeah. And so why don't we just put everything into the Marshals Act, turn to DOJ, get rid of all the leadership there, fire them all. The SES, the Special Executive Service.
Oh, especially those bunch of cops. They got to go.
Need to go. Trump can do this. And just turn it into the United States Marshal Service. Look, I have mad respect. The Marshal Service are the infantry for federal law enforcement. They go after the bad guys. The ATF is a revenuing service. Put them back in Treasury, and their EOD guys, which are legit and righteous. A lot of the stuff with the NFA needs to be repealed, in my opinion. Oh, wow. What'd you do now, or is it because you're talking to me?
Huh.
You might be getting raided right now. Shit, I might be tonight. You never know. But who cares? I mean, it's all bullshit. But
well, listen, all you do is inconvenience me and probably piss me off a little bit, right? And if you guys didn't kill me, you would make it worse to yourself. So think about that before you do that. I'll just tell you right now.
You the nigga behind the trigger, just like me, baby.
hey, listen, I joke about, I say it jokingly because it's not really true. I'm obviously not the most dangerous man in the world, but I can become that. All you have to do is push me, people. So don't trust me, because I'll just sit around just enjoying myself.
What was that? What was that Will Smith movie, Enemy of the State?
Yeah.
Yeah. It can happen to anybody. Dude, you have no idea how many bros I have all over the planet. And it's hilarious when we talk. We all understand it. And yet, there's very few that will actually talk about it. And we know who the real enemy is. And
Absolutely.
it's the globalist.
Yep.
And
cocksmokers are trying to turn this whole world into a communist cesspool
and subvert our youth. The youth. This is where the Democrats did get it right. I'm going to tell you, the communist Democrats.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you where they did get it right. They took the colleges under when they brought everybody over and put them in. Damn, I just said it earlier. The college you guys have, it's Columbia,
right,
Frankfurt
yep.
School.
You got it.
They knew exactly what they were doing, and they have been subverting it. Remember, the two people that stole the nuclear technology, the Ethel and what's his name?
Ethel and Julius Rosenberg. 1953, right?
Remember, they were communist, but they were globalist too.
Right? And listen, and everyone, I can hear somebody. Oh my goodness, they're being anti-Semitic. No, listen. What are you supposed to do if all the criminals are of a certain kind? What are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to ignore that? Or are you supposed to ignore the evidence in front of your eyes? If Bernie Madoff, did the crime, deal with it. What are you supposed to do? Don't get butthurt about it.
But
How about stopping doing the crime?
but it's
How about that?
but it's your harsh words, Goy. They hurt us so bad, Goy. We have to shut you down. Oh, shut it down, shut it down.
Hey, well, imagine not having a job for 3 years feels like. When I'm one of the most accomplished computer techs in the world. The world, okay?
Imagine that, right?
Think about that. Say I gotta listen to people. Oh yes, turn the key, yes, and do this and that, yes. This is that. Listen, you should not be on the phone. You should be digging something, okay?
Yeah.
Honestly, you should not be communicating to anyone on the phone. You can't communicate. That's not logos. It's chaos.
And that's a problem with corporatocracy. And the problem is we have allowed this with this globalism, and it's all about making the coin, brother. If they
It's nonsense. Right.
if they can read a script and go by the numbers, I throw them off all the time. I'm like, I need to speak to an American. Well, and I actually met a good guy who was an American, or at least I think he is. I mean, he gave his bona fides out after I called him out on some things, and I called him out on things that I was projecting on him. I'm going to be very honest because of his accent. And he's like, "No, man, I'm an immigrant. I live in Dallas." He's like, "Let me tell you, this is where I live. This is what I did." Da, 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 da. I believe that guy, and at the end of it, it was an awesome thing. He did the best he could. And then he's like, I'm going to have to get a tech to your house. But the tech thing, everything checks out that it's either one or two things. My OBS or we have copper lines, not
the fiber optics.
Fiber optics. And so we are limited to the amount of live stream. But that doesn't make sense either because I was able to live stream until about now 4 weeks ago, a month ago.
Well, they're gonna call that algorithms, brother. But we know the truth. It's not algorithms. There's an idiot with a YouTube shirt on directing all this.
Well, remember, YouTube is nothing more than Google. Eric
Right.
Schmidt, and I've pointed this out with Eric Schmidt. You look at his ancestry and where he came from, and guess what? He's got East German links. So Eric Schmidt gets this honestly. This is truth. Yeah, it's truth. And I did links on him, Angela Merkel, on my other channel. Guess what? The Merkel one's still up, I think. But they took down several videos of mine on my other channel that I don't use anymore just because, I'm just not going to do that.
Too much truth. Too much truth. We must expunge.
Yeah.
No more truth. Propaganda.
But the funniest part is this channel I'm on now, I started in 2007.
Nice.
And I never used it. Never used it. You know why? I was a moron and forgot my password.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens,
and
brother.
actually,
that's why they paid me the big bucks in the old days to reset passwords. I reset passwords with the most impossible people.
Oh, dude.
People like if you told them, listen, one step, all you gotta do is step 1, 2, or 3. They F it up.
Yep. Though.
And still, I got them through password resets. I mean, it's incredible the stuff I've had to deal with. And now, well, I'm sorry, you don't get to avail. I can't avail my services because
somebody doesn't want me to have money. You can have money because you want to suck our butts. Why would you suck our butts, please?
Well, because I know what I'm doing, so I don't have to kiss ass, people.
And
how about that?
The interesting thing they've done is made an economy that nobody sees. I'm sure you make your money, I make mine, but they've forced an underground economy. And that's actually pretty sad and pathetic.
It is sad and pathetic because here's the thing. When it comes down to the big battle, well, we know how to survive because we've had to. You idiots, pushing around your money, your big battle. Oh, yeah, you're gonna do what I say because I'm paying you this and that. Wait till your money runs out. Wait till your money's not worth anything. Who do you think's gonna listen to you? Nobody. You will be the first people we eat. Don't you understand?
The interesting thing, even more than that, is I do have a feeling that the internet, which started as DARPANet, everybody forgets this. I was there at that ground beginning, and so were many of my brothers.
Hey, there wasn't no friggin' Al Gore there either, was it?
No. Al Gore was just a senator that voted start DARPANet. That's all he did. That's how he created it with a lot of other senators and congressmen before he got to him to become a bill. But the more interesting part, I know we're laughing because this is all fun, man. And that's what this first show with you is supposed to be, so people get to know you, is because they got to understand the kind of guy you are. You're an awesome dude.
So are you, brother.
Well, I don't know about that, but I appreciate the flowers. But what I'll say is,
no kisses, though.
Yeah, we'll touch sticks later, right?
Hello.
But no, that's not happening.
My poor neighbors must be losing their minds.
Dude, they must be like, motherfucker.
So how the hell do we get a Broadway? How do we get a Broadway theater in this friggin' building? Who's this guy with the Frisco? You know?
Yeah. Hello, Frisco. Yeah, no, I get it, man. But the major point being, is that he has taken credit for so much, and yet how much of what he said was wrong, and yet the Democrats still love him. Here's another funny thing. How much of their theories have been wrong, and yet you still have 100%, and yet you still have them pushing narratives. Oh, well, it's got to be collusion, you know. Well,
I figured out what that is. Here's the thing, guy. They lied to us for 3 years straight. Russia. They try to feed that stupid narrative to us, right?
But Russia.
Right, so I'm a real computer guy, not a paper tech like Imran Awan, who thinks that if you take a hammer to a hard drive that you've ruined it. No, that stuff can be recovered, stupid. But you wouldn't know that because you're a fake tech anyway. So, Seth Rich is how that information got passed.
Exactly.
On. It wasn't passed through a network because it was impossible
for the speed it was downloaded. And
done.
I know a guy with NSA that told me this.
Look at that. Listen, I'm not a guy from NSA, and I know that. Imagine that.
Yeah. Well, no, I get
that,
but I'm just saying, I know that that's the truth. And his mugging was fraudulent.
Right. So remember, it was a robbery, right? Even though not an item was taken from him.
No,
it was classified as a robbery.
No, as you know, they called it a robbery, but in
he
classic,
didn't lose anything. He had his gold watch on, a $2,000 gold watch, $2,000 gold watch.
Yeah, he had everything with him. No, we're not arguing over this point,
right? No, but it's insane how they expect us to accept that. You know, I'm supposed to say, "Oh, it was a robbery, but they didn't take anything."
The initial reports was a mugging gone wrong.
Jeez.
That was the initial reports. If people look it up.
Well, I'm still trying to see how mugging gone wrong. Why he didn't take anything?
Exactly, but
he didn't take anything.
No, it was to silence him. This is Fort Marcy Park. See, people without institutional knowledge.
Yes.
People without institutional knowledge do not understand that everything's connected. There is no coincidence.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
That's the biggest issue. And it's not until you get people who understand things together that shit starts getting a little clearer. You know,
exactly.
There's an old adage in the military. It's hard to drain the swamp when you're up to your ass in alligators.
Oh boy.
And
talk about that, brother. Oh.
Yeah. And there was another one where a crane is about to eat a frog, and it has this frog with his little webbed paws choking the crane, and it says "never give up." And those two memes that used to just be they would be printed off. You could probably find them.
I've got those.
Those two memes were stuff that you had to print off. And that was during DARPANet. That's how old those memes. Yeah, and that's why the left can't meme, the right can. I've been privileged to meet some of the major meme masters on this planet.
Awesome.
That have put out the dankest of memes. And yeah, I may be a Gen Xer, but I have mad boomer skills with computers. I mean, I can work through them, but I don't know everything. These kids, for some reason, man, they will find how to get through anything. And to me, I'm looking at shit and I'm like, Jesus Christ. Even before this show, my mic wasn't working. And I was like, can you give me a hand? I shared it. You're like, dude, I'm not seeing it. So obviously I shared it wrong. And it just worked out.
Good, you got through it, brother.
Yeah.
The whole thing. It's just a learning process. That's the whole thing. It's just possible that this information is being pushed towards the youth somehow, and they're just able to get it faster. But we can get it. It's not like it'll never come to us. It's just
it's not a secret magic trick.
Exactly. Like the Holocaust.
That's a magic trick.
That's a magic trick. And I want to tell you, see, the magic only works when everyone believes it. So I want to tell you right now, it'll never work because I don't believe it. Okay? Because here's why, people. Because there are no homicidal gas chambers. So without the homicidal gas chambers, there's no Holocaust. All right? So I'm sorry to hurt the feelings of anyone out there, but that's the truth.
The interesting thing, a guy by the name of Cole, he's on my page on my FB.
Yeah.
And he actually is a Jewish guy. David Cole.
Yeah, David Cole, David's son.
Yeah. And he actually went there and debunked it. And this is when there were still VHS tapes out there.
1991. He went to go visit Francis Peter. I believe his name is.
And
can you believe I pulled this stuff out of my head? It's incredible.
And he went to all the different camps. And the blue from the
Prussian blue.
The Prussian blue from the quote unquote showers. He's like, it doesn't make sense. It's on the corners, and then later you see it coming out of the spouts, which were created later after that. And he's like, even with that being said, let's say everybody went there and did that. This is my 2 cents on it.
Yep.
The numbers don't add up. It was 42 when the final solution was gathered. 45, 3 years now. I have been to mass graves in Iraq. Let me tell you, with the way the Shia were put down by Saddam, the numbers don't reach that, and they had how many years? Think about when the Gulf War ended. I remember watching the eradication of the Shia start. When was that? We left in 91, right?
Right, that's right.
So I remember getting back, and it was still 91. I left April Fool's Day, and they showed the helicopters coming in, machine gunning motherfuckers, all that shit happening.
Yeah.
And I returned in 05, yet we invaded Iraq in 03. So they had how many years to eradicate people?
That's a dozen. That's a dozen, baby.
So now you think about this. I go to mass graves of 100,000 people. Multiple mass graves, and there were others. The numbers don't add up. They should have had more than 6 million.
Of course. So, but see, let's talk about that. Let's talk about this thing. Here's the truth of it. And so if anyone's going to get butthurt, go get your salve, because I'm going to make your butts burn right now. The Jews were the most protected population during World War II. The Germans were feeding them over their own soldiers. It's ridiculous. So to say that they were murdering Jews outright is just stupid. And I'm going to tell you what happened after the war. If you remember the Morgenthau Plan, The Morgenthau Plan was to torture German soldiers. So they took over 1 million soldiers. I'm going to stick to 1 million, but I believe the number is higher. They took 1 million soldiers and they put them in an enclosure, and they didn't feed them, and they didn't give them the water, and they died. All right.
Yep.
So if they're going to kill Jews, that's all they had to do. So why didn't they just do that? Because that's not what they were doing. They had brothels, they had swimming pools, they had sports teams. They tried to take the Jews out of the population so they would stop subverting the population.
There was a documentary on Glenn Beck where he's like, this is fake. The Jewish weren't killed. Like, this is all fake because they're trying to say the Jews weren't killed. It was all propaganda, right?
I got to find out. Okay.
Yeah, it was on back when I had a subscription to him, which ended when he started going after Trump. Just because I realized that Beck wasn't as current as he thought he was. He had his own biasy. But the interesting part was he's like, this is all propaganda. And I'm like, all propaganda exists. It does.
Absolutely.
It's true. It's honest. But there's a problem with this, is that I've seen mass graves. I know what they look like. I know how many people were there. And even with the ovens, and Cole did yeoman's work on this, with their technology, guess what? They weren't burning that many people. I can't remember his estimate, but I think he said maybe 2 million people were killed, and that corresponded to what was called a typhus outbreak.
Right, there was a typhus infestation.
Yeah,
exactly.
And Kelly, I can't think of her name. I want to say Clark. She did a book with Jews in the SS.
Oh, Veronica Clark, you mean?
Yeah, no. I think her real name was Kelly, but yeah, it's Veronica Clark. Yeah, I think that's what she uses for her book, so I shouldn't have added her. Anyways, she put the book out that was saying there were Jews, blacks, everybody in the SS, and that's true. There were Muslims.
That's right.
The most decorated unit in any SS battalion. There's a reason why Hitler met with
with Jesse Owens.
Well, Jesse Owens was one, but I mean that's an American. I'm talking about he met with.
Yes, right. The Grand Mufti.
Grand Mufti of Jerusalem. Yeah, and the reason for that is because the Muslim SS were the most efficient. Now we know why, because they will die to meet Allah. And see, people, they just don't want to look at history. And history is the guide. History has to be looked at because history doesn't repeat, it fucking rhymes.
Yeah, there you go. Good man. That's a good anecdote right there. And that's what people don't get. You know, it's that's why we're not learning history. We're learning crap. You know, they're teaching the kids Common Core, which is not math. It's idiocy. Okay, it's idiocracy made live. There's no reason that you have to take 70 steps to add 3 + 7.
We're learning asshole worship. Honestly, that's all we're learning. Our youth. Look, many times I went to my son's school during different coursework if I knew something about it, on home, at leave, whatever was going on, right?
Yeah.
I'll never forget this. And I was always welcomed. And my son comes home, and I'm like, cool. So what are you learning, today? He goes, the Cold War, Dad. And I'm like, cool. I said, does your teacher want me to come in? He goes, I'll check tomorrow, Dad. I had a good rapport with the teachers there because I didn't bullshit.
No, it sounds great. Yeah.
And I take an interest in my son. and his development and also his classmates.
Well, you weren't treating school like a daycare. Exactly.
Right. I'm just coming in there for a class that I can give a personal perspective. If it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I don't care. 2 minutes, I can bring in a couple items. This is Cold War kind of shit because it's real.
Imagine that, right? The kids would see, they're never going to see anyone coming with Cold War items. I mean, what a service you're performing, you know?
Yeah. And that's kind of how I looked at it. Anyways, next day comes, and I'm like, son, what did your teacher say? He goes, we're done with the Cold War. One day they got for 50 years of history.
Oh, boy.
One day was all that was spent on it. And that's in high school. You wonder why communism is flourishing?
Because once again, they're showing actions devoid of consequences. They're showing that we can just give money to everybody, you know, but we're gonna cancel the student debt and all that because listen, the world needs ditch diggers too. A lot of those people who got those stupid degrees should be digging ditches for a living because that's all they're capable of. The people need to live up to their expectations. And some people aren't even doing that.
Dude, I've never had my heart broken more than, Dad, we finished that. We're studying this now. And, man, I gave a hour-long class on the Gulf War when he was in middle school.
Wow.
Showing him everything I had. So it befuddles the mind that they have taken it to that level.
They successfully screwed up education. Basically they've done everything. They're destroying everything that makes any sense everywhere. I think that's the entire point of it, though. And that's why I stress the whole point about their money not being good. People need to stop accepting their stupid handouts of money and then accepting them and then letting them being suborned. People need to stand up and say, your money's no good here, man. Just get out.
It's fraudulent money. It's
right.
fraudulent.
They just make it up out of nowhere. Exactly.
Yes. And you and I can do a deal with, hey, I have this skill and I have these things. What do you want? This is how America works. And yet, guess what? They are trying to, we're going to become a cashless society. We're near there.
That's what they want. I'm never taking a chip, brother. I'm never taking a chip.
Me neither. Because what I thought, this is back in the 70s. You may have seen this. Maybe you haven't. But there were several movies that were made. The Mark of the Beast, and they were Christian movies, and they were sloppy back in that day. But if you look at it, Tribulation Force, there was, I can't remember the names of the books, but it was The Mark of the Beast, 666 was the first book I read, and then went and saw it at the Christian drive-in theater here locally. I know they're still out there. People can look them up. Sorry, I'm belching. I have some, I've been drinking my soda. But anyways, the interesting thing to me, it boggles my mind that these movies have turned out right, dude. I thought, just like everybody did, I thought this is all bullshit. You know, I was anyways, I don't want to get into all that, but I was just like, it's all fear porn. And
that's exactly right. You got it, brother.
Yeah. But I don't believe in fear porn anymore. I think there's always a truth. There's a grain of truth to every conspiracy or conspiracy theory. Now, with that being said, I want you to riff for a while.
Okay, so this you're absolutely right. Let me go into my Hollywood rant. I might as well since it ties in. So when they started Hollywood, they what they gave us were Nickelodeons, right? They cost a nickel. You would go in, watch the feature, and leave. The people were so enamored with this new thing, they would take another nickel and go right back in and watch it again. So Hollywood said, "We got him. We got him reeled in." So what happened in 1936? We had a film called Sylvia Scarlett. Sylvia Scarlett was the attempt at putting the first lesbian kiss on screen and subverting America's morals. Right? It didn't work. The movie was a flop. So of course, then it continued. So what we got were monster movies, and E. Michael Jones talks about this. And it turns out that these monster movies were simply metaphors for sexual repression. And what Hollywood had figured out is that they could use our sexual whatevers as leverage over us. In other words, to control our vices, you control the vices, you control the man. There's a saying that a man has as many masters as he has vices.
True.
So then we get to 1965. 1965 is the big one. 1965 is when they put out The Pawnbroker. So I downloaded The Pawnbroker. I put it up on my Bright Eon page.
True.
Right? So I got it, and I've seen it. So this is not just oh, The Pawnbroker is back. No, I've seen the movie.
The best breakdown of it is Black Pigeon Speaks. I don't know if you've ever looked at it.
I got to see that. That's my next thing.
Go to Black Pigeon Speaks and The Pawnbroker. But what so many people don't understand is in 65, that was when they changed the INA, Immigration and Naturalization Act.
You realize all these things work together.
They
people.
did.
That's the whole thing. Yes. What happens is we have a lot of people don't understand these things. But I got to tell you, Grant Morrison is a guy. There's one of these writers who he gives you this stuff and you can put it together. It's just like reading Watchmen. If you ever read Watchmen, Alan Moore and I'm forgetting David Gibbons, right? Every time you read Watchmen, you find out a new thing. That's the mark of a good book, where every time you read it, you get a new part of the story.
Exactly.
Right? So what I figured out from Grant Morrison that we have against us, you, I, and all the other good people out there, we are besieged by a multi-pronged attack. They attack us on multiple levels.
Multiple fronts. Right? It's complete domination. This
Full
is
spectrum dominance.
Yes. Total spectrum dominance. And that was something on the last podcast with Jaffe and you. Yeah. I kept pointing out, man, is that this has gone to a level, except now it's getting some pushback, and it's not making the morons in charge happy.
No, because they went too far.
Yeah.
They went too far.
Yeah.
You cheered the murdering of children who made it through the womb safely for 9 months. They make it through the womb, and all of a sudden you're killing them. Why are you killing them? Because you're using them for adrenochrome. You stupid freaks.
And the fuckers are now able to kill them after birth.
Yes.
In Virginia.
And
they're cheering over it. And, dude, can you imagine we're men, so we don't understand everything. We just pump the fluid in and, we make our babies. I mean, It's true. I mean, to a basic biological level, she's the factory, we're the delivery device. That's right. Period. Yeah. Point blank. Anyways,
it's worked for all this time. So why are we breaking that?
Yeah,
why are we breaking that? Why are we trying to turn women into men and men into women?
Why are most abortionaries? I call them that because it's just like a.
Because that's the truth of it. Exactly.
Yeah, it's just like a crematorium, or a cemetery. Why are they located in low-income places where women are scared about their finances? Because women are always scared about, shit. How many arguments have you had with your wife, and how many have I had over money that were retarded? We knew it was going to be fine.
Absolutely unnecessary. Well, what they did was they screwed. Okay, it's all about taking care of your family. I don't believe anybody should have to work more than one job ever.
Right.
Ever.
I agree.
needs to pay your salary and take care of your family, right? But what happened was, because of this stupid crap with the government colluding with these scumbags,
they depressed
Jekyll
wages.
Island,
Yep.
right? They screwed us. Okay, taxes do not belong on wages. Wages are what you exchange for your blood, sweat, tears, and time. 100%. You're supposed to get that back. Okay, so the idea of taxes is, so I do all the work, but I go order a sandwich, right? So I get a ham and cheese hero. Well, guess what? Tony likes ham and cheese hero, so he gets 30% of my hero.
Yeah.
But I paid for it. What do you mean? What do you mean? He gets 30%. Well, he gets 30% because he likes ham and cheese. Well, that doesn't work.
No.
That's taxes.
But look, I'm a big fan of you tax them when they spend their money. That way you don't have anybody hiding their money. The drug dealers, you and I, nobody hides their money from a sales tax.
Right. You sell, right. You spend it, you pay sales tax.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Perfect.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that tax. Wage tax.
Completely evil.
It echoes, my friend, because
right?
you can't make $1 without, and notice he's a black man and I'm calling him a goy because he's cattle just like I am. We both believe in Christ. Or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
But, or moo, I guess. We're cattle. But the funniest shit, dude, is so many people don't get this. Is a sales tax is righteous. A state tax that's a sales tax is righteous. Even if you have some land and they want to take some tax off your land, as long as it's minimal. But the problem with that is landowners used to be the only ones taxed by a small ass state.
Right.
Now, and we're able to vote, actually. Now renters can vote. And trust me, they have made this society so that everybody who rents gets an equal vote on taxes. And all they have to do is say more police, more fire, a library. It matters not. They will throw this shit up and get
the children.
1
Think
mil.
of the children.
Yeah, it's always about. That's where they got us, dude. They got us in the 80s with that. It's for the children.
That's it.
Yeah. Cunts.
And then meanwhile, it's a bunch of crap, right? So 1965, the pawnbroker destroyed the morals of America because they put on the first naked breast, right? And this was the trick. See, I didn't know this until I saw it. They put on a white chick and a black chick.
Yep.
And they had their naked breasts on screen for an incredible amount of time. So if you're sitting in this theater and you've never seen another naked woman in your life, and all of a sudden, boing, big yams right on the screen.
Titties.
See ya.
Yep.
See ya. Done.
Hey,
that was it.
Think about this, brother. The Magic Negro.
That's it.
Okay, think about that guy, right? And who his real father was, which was Frank Marshall Davis.
Marshall Davis. That's right.
Yeah. You know the truth. And his mother. How many lesbian pictures were she in? Stanley Ann Dunham was a sex operative for the CIA.
Sure.
That's fact. No, this is fact.
No, I know. Oh, yeah.
Dirty bitch. And why do you think all these birthers were morons? And I used to scream and yell at them. Stop with the birther shit. You're not looking at what's true. The truth is this. Barack Obama, when she went to Indonesia was having an issue. And what I say by that is a communist takeover, try to take them over.
Yeah.
And so they made you have to have Indonesian citizenship to go through school. Stanley Ann Dunham had to have surrendered you have to go to an embassy to do this. It's no different than you or I, both natural born, and he could be natural born citizens, and we go to a different country, and our mother surrenders our citizenship. Guess what? We now re-immigrate into America. That was what they should have focused on instead of where he was born. Fuck where he was born. His re-immigration was the issue, and that makes him, and it would have made you or I or anybody out there listening right now no longer a natural-born citizen. We would have been an immigrant. And guess what? We don't get no special status coming back. We become an immigrant. No, I'm saying in that aspect. And at the time he was actually born, if you want to go to the bornness of him, if he was born somewhere, a woman could not confer, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it was a fact, could not confer citizenship. It had to be a husband that could do that. And her husband, but like I said, I don't want to go to the birth thing. His mother surrendered his citizenship. He is an immigrant. And so we've had an immigrant homosexual already in office. So Buttigieg, he likes to look at that booty and judge it.
Well, listen, the best thing about that nickname of his, it's so easy to make fun. So Mayor Pete likes
it's his real name. That's what's so funny about it.
Yeah, Mayor Pete. You want some more meat? It's terrible, isn't it?
Pete likes to feed the meat.
That's it.
Dude, it's so funny. You and I, it's simpatico. I'd love to do more shows with you. I know you're probably getting tired of it, and I've got to, because, dude, this thing's not going to upload. We're now at 2 hours and 20. This thing's going to upload at about 11 o'clock.
Hey, listen, it'll get up there. Just, we'll have some fun with it. But yeah, no, thank you very much. I hope we got all the points out, everybody. So Hollywood needs to go. Is my point is. They need to go. They have destroyed whatever trust they ever had with us. They've destroyed it. So like I said, I don't chill. But guys, check out this fundraiser for this thing.
You're not shilling
entertainment.
You're not shilling. You're pimping.
Okay, so I'm pimping, baby. Yeah, big pimping, baby.
We pimp what we believe in.
Yes, we absolutely do. And Orbiter is the beginning of the new of our entertainment. We're getting our entertainment back. We're not going to have people slipping in porno in between our children's cartoons, okay, and stuff like that, because that's what we have right now. We want our entertainment to be wholesome again. This is how you do it.
We're gonna work this mother out, and then the other thing I'll say is, every day I'm shuffling. What's up, my nigga?
Yeah, baby. That's it.
It's always it's always a pleasure having you on, bro. I said, man, folks, you follow him. Pimp all your shit, bro. Your page, if you want to put your email out again, whatever you want to do, that's on you. And you're a hell fellow well met, and I mean that. And hopefully other people will listen to you and find some common ground. And that's the thing I think Americans need to do more than anything, is find common ground, because honestly, if this shit keeps going on, I understand what's happening. And,
me too. Yeah.
It's going to be ugly if we don't find it soon and we subvert the subverters.
Well, so everybody think of this. If anyone's still butthurt about my Snickers comment with Heather Heyer, hrcforjail@mail.com. Go ahead and send me email. And well, it depends on your level of insult. If you're going to be real insulting, then like I said, the butthurt style is going to come in handy, because I'm going to burn you. All right. If you just want nice dialogue, I'll give you that, because I'm good like that. Check out my blog. It's gm-no.blogspot.com. That's my main blog. That has my Room 8 stuff. I wrote over 300 articles for Room 8. I was actually idolized by Ariana Huffington until I started writing about 9/11, which apparently is kryptonite to these globalists. So she didn't promote my stuff anymore. But over 300 pieces, and one of the best pieces I did was about 9/11. You'll see it. I think I put it on the side. Actually, no. The biggest piece I did, which is actually not a Room 8 piece, was something I found on the internet 11 years ago, and it's about the foreknowledge of what they did to London. And they flooded in with these Muslims. They knew about this over 10 years ago.
What was that? 7/17?
Oh no, this was back in 2008. I found this thing.
Oh, okay.
2008. I found out that they're going to flood Afghanistan. They're going to flood London with Muslims. So think about that. So this is
interesting.
This is a plan afoot ages ago. And so I mentioned the multi-pronged attack. That was one of the multi-pronged attacks that they have on Europe right now.
Much fuckery afoot. And we haven't even gotten it. Dude, I wish, I'm just so worried this shit's not going to get uploaded until the morning. Because I got shit to do, and then I won't be able to upload it. I will give you a copy of it, as a matter of fact, once we're done. But
Excellent.
That way you can upload it too. Like I said, folks, keep pimping your shit, man. Like I said, I didn't mean to interrupt, but we'll talk about HuffPo afterwards, and I'll tell you what's up.
You guys, and also Minds is the big one. Since Facebook's they get butthurt every time I put up a Muslim meme or something, and I keep getting put in Facebook gulag. Go to minds.com/GMno. All right, and of course I'm telling everyone to stay away from Frankenfood, because the stuff will eat your insides. Trust me. The Mexicans don't buy it at half the price, so why would you buy it? And what else?
Exactly.
And I have my initiative. My biggest initiative is CANST, CANST, which stands for Children Are Not Sex Toys. And that's about the whole Hollywood thing, because what they do to your children would make you sick.
They did it. Here's something with the Michael Jackson thing, the expose.
Yes.
This really was heartbreaking. That one kid from Australia, they flew. Parents did this, dude. If my wife or
talking about pimping children, right?
About
pimping.
Yeah. If my wife or I went somewhere and they were like, "Well, he's going to stay with me, and guess what? You'll stay over here," we'd be like, no, I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. I don't care if you liked his moonwalk.
My kid's sleeping with me. He's not sleeping with you. That's impossible. It's not happening. I don't care what kind of crap you tell me. Wow.
And see, that's where it's... Dude, there's a moral thing. There is...
See, Quincy Jones and Joe Jackson turned Michael Jackson into a pedo.
Really?
He wasn't set for that. He was just a kid who was singing, right? But he got turned into a pedo by Quincy Jones and Joe Jackson, his father.
Wow, I never knew that, brother.
So this whole thing, this whole expose, this is just Hollywood throwing out a sacrificial lamb like Harvey Weinstein or Kevin Spacey. But here's the trick. I'm tired of lamb. I've had enough lamb. I want hyena meat now.
Wow. Hey, dude, we're going to have to do another... It sounds like you know a lot about certain things I don't know about, because I just don't delve into it because it's too evil for me.
It is so evil. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, dude, I have seen evil in the fucking face. I've seen shit people would not even believe. But I always felt, well, anyways, I don't feel that anymore, but at one time I felt people had honor. So
they don't care about honor anymore. They care about shekels.
Yeah,
That's
well, yeah,
And here's the thing about that:
money is nothing.
money is supposed to be a lubricant for trade and nothing more. This is a quote from
Right.
Andrew from Subverted Nation, Adam Austin. And so I'd say Andrew England, but no, Adam Austin from Subverted Nation. It's supposed to be a lubricant for trade and nothing more, not to take advantage of others. So
Right.
that's what it's turned into.
Right. Because we don't subvert or pervert. We shouldn't as human
Amen,
beings.
brother. Amen.
We shouldn't because it's about honor and it's about the person you meet.
That used to be worth so much, and now honor means nothing, apparently.
No, it does.
Well, to us it does. That's right, because listen, that's how we live our lives. We live our lives about honor, and we're not going to give up. So that's where we're fighting. We're fighting against honorless scumbags. So that's the battle, people. So pick your side.
Pick a side, honor or dishonor.
That's it.
That's where it's at. Anyways, I'll talk to you on the flip side real quick. Once look, sorry, Axion Ghost. I was gonna play the intro and the outro. I will link you in the description as I always do.
Thanks, brother.
I will link you too, brother, with all the stuff. You send me the links, I will link it, and I will talk to you offline once I hang up. But hang up on my channel.
Yep, and I'll be listening to Ingrid Malmsteen's "I Am a Viking" when we're done.
Outstanding, much love, brother. So we will talk soon here in a second. So
you got it.
Thank you guys for spending the time with a hell fellow well met, and hopefully you see everybody's not what they try to paint people to be. God bless.
Amen, brother.
Be well. Be safe. Thank you for stopping by Kaiser's Castle. If you didn't like it just because of skin color, well, okay, I understand that. But
we're gonna feed you to
what?
the alligators in the moat, brother.
Yeah, no. We're not going to do that. It's just, like I said.
We're all brothers is what is the message here.
Exactly. And that's what needs to be said is if we can sort everything out once we win. And that's my point. With that being said, Shuff out.